All right. Good morning. Good morning, everyone. Thanks for tuning in to our live release event here. We are excited to get some birds out today, out into the wild. Some young condors. We have 6 queued up, ready to go of the 10. We got an exciting day planned ahead. Mike Stakes here, who's always here on our Condor chat. This is kind of going to be a Ventana Wildlife Society Condor chat / live release. This is going to basically be our Condor chat for this month. And same for next month, December 12th, we're going to have a second release. We're going to release the last 4 birds. So today we're releasing the 6 that you see here on the camera to my right. I guess that's going to be to your left or right, I forget. And this is a live feed. And we have also up there, you guys can unmic yourselves. We have the crew down in the release pen.
Hi, everybody.
Hey, everyone.
There they are. All right. Let me remove my spotlight real quick and spotlight you guys. So how's it going down there?
It's
early.
good.
It is good.
All the birds that are in the actual pen really want to be in the DDT. So everybody wants to be released today, but only the 6 for today.
Yeah, and so maybe you guys can give maybe do the introductions for me. Maybe start with Isaiah there.
What's your name?
Yeah. Hi, I'm Isaiah. I'm one of the interns too. Over here.
And I'm Kara. I'm one of the biologists.
I'm Maeve, intern number 2. And I'm Darren, another biologist.
Awesome. Cool. So you guys have been down there getting everything prepped up. So big shout out to you guys for everything you've done the last couple days. And yeah, so how they looking? Those tags looking nice. They've got their new wing tags and other swag on their wings, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they're nice and clean.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and who are we releasing today? Which of the 10? Which birds?
1123 and 1124, and I have a cheat sheet. 1137, 1139, and 1144. And
that's interesting you said that, because this is one of the largest release groups we've had, so which is an exciting step in the right direction. So yeah, it's a good problem to have, having to memorize more numbers, right?
Yeah. You can't remember them all.
Yeah. So are there any wild birds in the area?
Yeah, we got a few. So yeah, 1089, little great one is here, feeding on one of the carcasses we put out last night right outside the pen. And then 936 and 758 are both here as well.
Oh, exciting. All right. Well, they're there to greet. They got a welcoming committee, huh?
Yes, yes, they do.
936 has been sitting outside the lower release door, like directly in front of it. So I think they're ready to greet the rookies.
That is awesome. Well, it's an exciting day. I think we've all been anxiously awaiting this. We've had it's been a little bit of an adventure with the HPAI, with the highly pathogenic avian influenza on the scene. We didn't even know we were going to get released birds this year. So this is definitely momentous. It was a lot of hard work, just getting these birds to where they're at right now. And, again, without our partners helping us, especially LA Zoo and Oregon Zoo for helping us get the birds up here, and all of our other obviously our partners at Pinnacles National Park, we co-manage the flock with. So yeah, it takes a village, but yeah, we're excited to get these birds out into the wild today, out to Central California. So yeah, it's just so everybody knows, the crew right now is at our San Simeon release site. They're in a blind area where the birds can't see them, and they're looking through one-way glass. And maybe Darren, you can give everybody the view you guys have of the birds.
Yeah.
Do a little quick, look at this. Yeah, so this is your guys' view looking out the one-way glass window, and up towards the front of the pen in the far distance, you can kind of see a bird. The furthest bird you can see is actually a wild bird on the outside of the pen, and the bird on the ground in between the closest bird and that bird is one of the release birds going out today. So there's a small pen out in the front of our pen that we isolate birds for on release day. And this allows us to selectively release half the group and we don't do all 10 at once. It'd be too much to manage. So we like to kind of release in batches with a couple weeks apart. So today we're going to release roughly half of the birds, the 6, and then the other 4 will get released on December 12th. Yeah, it's a great view.
Joe, how did you choose those 6 birds? Were they carefully selected by the crew there?
I'll let them answer that.
No, we got in the blind yesterday morning and then just kind of shut the doors when there were 6 in there. We were kind of hoping for 5 and 5, but there were like an hour and a half where like all 9 of them were in there. And then the moment that like 6 were in there, we shut the doors as quick as possible. So yeah, just luck of the draw, I guess.
Luck of the
Dolphins
draw.
really
Again.
like that redwood perch, so all of them like to sit on the one that's in the double door trap, and they I guess they like the view there or something, but it was hard to. It took a lot of waiting before there was only enough in there that we wanted to trap.
So you're saying that pen is divided into 2 sections, and so the 6 birds are in one section, and the 4 that will be released in December are in another section, and so the doors that are opening are the doors for the 6 birds, and the 4 have to stay in that one compartment.
Correct, yes.
They have to watch their buddies go out today,
Yeah.
but they'll be out soon enough. And it's it's a soft release approach, we like to call it. Yeah, so we'll open the doors today. You might see some birds go right out. Some birds might hang out for the whole day and decide to go out the end like last year. Wild Bill waited till almost till sunset to decide to walk out. And then of course right when we opened the door, we had a couple birds go right out. So yeah, we don't know. We actually don't know what's going to happen. But these guys would be ready to get on foot if a bird takes off away from the release site. They have tracking devices that we can follow the birds. And so who's ready? Who's going to mobilize today once we have a bird fly the coop?
I was gonna say we have 4 yogis in here, so
Yeah.
we're all ready.
Yeah, maybe explain that, how we track the birds when they fly further than we can see them.
Yeah, sure. All of the birds, the rookies that we have this batch, are equipped with 2 types of transmitters. One being the VHF radio transmitters, the other being like GPS devices. The radio transmitters that they're equipped with each have their own unique frequencies that identify them as individuals, and they pulse out these signals that we're able to receive with our like Yagi antennas. So we usually track them when we can't see them by going to like a high vantage point in an area that we expect them to be around, or at least detectable from. And we'll kind of rotate around in the circle while having our devices set to a specific condor's individual frequency to see if we can pick up a signal in any direction. Whichever the direction the signal is coming from the strongest is the most likely direction from our vantage point that bird is likely to be in. And over a tracking session, we're usually cycling through the frequencies of each individual bird in the Central Coast block. But in this case, we're prioritizing tracking for the birds that we're releasing today. So
yeah, again, for everybody that's listening, these birds are young. They're right at the age they would naturally start to wean away from their parents in the wild. They're just a little bit over 1.5 years in age. And so this is a great time to release them. They've kind of developed behaviorally to the point we like, but learning how to fly can only be done in the wild. So they will take their lumps, and they might have some crash landings or 2 or 3, but they learn pretty quickly. And these first flights today, we expect to be short. They kind of do these, they get up in the air and they realize, oh my God, I'm way high in the sky. And they panic a little bit and they go back to the ground, or to a tree. It'd be fun to hear the play-by-play. These guys are going to be right there giving us the latest when these birds go out of the pen. So anyway, we're kind of setting the stage for everything today. I want you guys to stay on. I'm going to get into a presentation here shortly, and I'd love you guys to help me walk through it to catch everybody up on what's happening with the project. We also have, for the first time at one of our live releases, we have a classroom joining us, and they will be joining us at about 9:50. And we're guessing we're going to release the birds at around 10:15 today. So those of you watching, I'll spend about 40 minutes with the crew. We'll be going over giving you guys a little update, catching up to speed with what's been happening with the project. And then we'll join La Paz Middle School. I'm sorry, La Paz Middle School. And the class and the teacher will join us and have questions and basically get to give us the final command to open up the doors and release the birds today. So we're really excited to have La Paz Middle School with us. Thanks for joining, guys. And we will connect with them after my presentation at about 9:50. There's some other exciting things happening. I wanted to kind of kick things off by showing a really cool video that we've been working, a documentary we've been working on. This is kind of a teaser, and Meredith Evans put this together. It's kind of like a highlight reel. It's I'll go ahead and do this. This is going to be called Condor Canyon, a true story. It's going to follow the lives of some of the individual birds. We're pretty excited about it. We've been gathering footage on this for the last year, and we've captured some pretty amazing stuff that we're excited to share. So I'm gonna do a little teaser here real quick. Here it is. Yeah, I know those visuals are amazing. It gets me fired up every time I see it. It's so good. It's what we get to see in the wild, but I think it's really cool to bring that imagery to everyone else, the stuff that we are privileged to see all the time, so big shout out to Meredith Evans, our communication coordinator. She's been putting in a lot of time on the camera and editing, and she put that piece together, and it's really, really beautiful. So we are excited for the full feature release coming soon. So we will keep everyone posted for sure. All right, we're back to the countdown screen here. Birds are looking pretty active over there, out there in the front there.
Yeah, we were saying they're like pacing back and forth, and I think they want that carcass that's out there.
Oh, good. Yeah, and that's a strategic placement, right? I mean, we put this out front so the birds have something to get to right when they go out. That's step one. We want them feeding on our food right when they go out. And obviously they'll learn to feed on their own pretty quick following the older birds. But initially we want them going to the food we provide them, just so they have a consistent basis they get back and stay close to home. And then they'll start venturing out once they get their flight muscles developed and all that good stuff. So I was going to go ahead and with your guys' help, get into the presentation. And this is kind of a quick overview of the agenda today. Obviously, I've been doing the introductions, and then we're going to get in here into the Condor chat presentation. And then at 9:50, we're going to join Paz Middle School. Really, really excited about that. That's the first time we've done that as part of our live release. And then we'll do a countdown to release with their classroom. And then the crew will open the doors, and then we'll all just watch what happens and unfolds, and we'll get the commentary from the crew down there at the pen of what's happening. And then Mike will throw out some Q&A for us. And then we'll continue to watch the birds up till noon. And then we'll sign off the event, but you can stay and watch the cam the rest of the day, the live cam that we have a link for on YouTube, on our webpage, on the ventanaws.org webpage as well. So that's kind of the layout for today. And first things first, the Condor Crew. Again, I'm Joe Burnett, the Condor Program Manager. Mike Stake is our non-lead program manager and also helps a ton with Condor. He is a biologist. We're both biologists, and we do a lot of managing, but we also do a lot of biology work. And of course, our Condor biologist, Darren Gross and Kara, who just introduced themselves. Danae is not here today, but she will, she's actually on her way home back to Monterey today, actually on an airplane right now. She'll be back to help us out. And of course, we have our interns, Maeve and Isaiah, and our GIS specialist, Evan, who also used to be out in the field with us. He provided some really awesome maps like he always does for us today. And again, super volunteer and our database designer, Tim Huntington. And of course, our veterinarian advisor, Amy Wells, who does so much for us. And we have a lot to update on that front. Amy really helped us out this month. So we just wanted to give an HPAI update for highly pathogenic avian influenza. Really good news there. You know, the trials are completed. We had good response from the group 1 results. We're still awaiting the group 2 results. And then the really good news is all of our pre-release condors are followed that group 1 protocol of getting initial vaccine and then a booster, similar to, you know, the COVID, when folks got COVID shots, you get the first vaccine and then you get a booster. So all the rookies today that are going out are fully vaccinated. And that was a huge accomplishment considering we didn't even know we were getting release birds a couple months ago. So we've kind of put things on the fast track, and we're excited to be back on track, actually. We are close to figuring out a vaccination plan for the remaining, for all the captive birds at the zoos and all of our wild condors. So we have a few meetings coming up with Fish and Wildlife Service, and hopefully we'll have a plan there as well. So things are moving along on the HPAI front. And also, we just finished up our HPAI transport vehicle. It's HPAI ready. We have a portable AC unit in the camper and a camper shell that's rigged up with ventilation. This was kind of a custom job. We can fit 3 kennels in here comfortably. So in the event of an outbreak, we feel pretty good that we can respond and get birds to where they need to be treated, potentially if they are in a life-threatening kind of situation. So excited to have that on board. That's been long coming here. Yeah, and our emergency response plan in general has been to build 10 quarantine pens, strategically locate them in Central California. Right now, we want to get 4 of the pens in place at Monterey SPCA immediately. And then we'll have 6 pens that we want to make either available for SPCA or potentially Oakland Zoo might be able to take a few of them. And then we might have a couple pens just to be able to move either over to Pinnacles, or if worst case, Northern California or our partners down in Southern California need help, we have a couple pens that can be mobilized if there's a large scale outbreak. So these pens are going to be really, really strategic. And so Ventana Wildlife Society is happy to provide that to the rest of the program as well. So again, it's a team effort. Big shout out to SPCA staff. The pens arrived. It took a little while to get the pens. There were some delays, but we were happy to report that all the pens are here, and we're gonna hopefully next week build them all and get them in place. But again, working with SPCA has been really great. Their staff has been incredibly helpful, and yeah, we look forward to the partnership with SPCA moving forward. Rebuild. Things are going great. Here's a view of the siding of this is the cabin where we'll be staying again. We've been rebuilding since the Dolan fire in 2020, which destroyed all of our facilities at our Big Sur release site. We had an incredible fundraising campaign thanks to a lot of you and all of our donors and members and funders and supporters, and we are able to rebuild everything. And the great good news about the cabin, this is will be the crew cabin. This is now sealed up with metal siding, so it's ready for the winter. And then we'll be working on the interior throughout the winter. The winter is a better time to do interior stuff, and so to be sealed and waterproof, and it looks beautiful. The siding's really nice. It blends right in. Obviously, we want this cabin to blend in up where we work. So yeah, it's we're really excited to see this coming together. And most importantly, we just had the sprinklers installed inside. So speaking of fire, gotta have fire sprinklers. So that was a really things are just moving along quickly. We're just getting a lot done up there, and big shout out to Madrone, the contractor that's been building the cabin, and their crew. They're super dedicated guys, and big shout out to those guys. All right, so the Central California population, boy, it's nice to see that total population after we release these birds will be at 101. So we're really excited to, once we get these 10 rookies out, to be back up to triple digits again. Again, the last time we were at 101 birds was just before the Dolan fire, when we tragically lost 12 birds that night of the fire. So it took us a while to bounce back, but really nice to see the numbers climbing back up. And yeah, so in terms of mortalities for 2023, we're similar to where we were in 2022. Obviously, any condor death is not something we like to even entertain, but they do happen. And again, lead poisoning is really is still a threat that we're managing. And again, Mike is doing incredible stuff with our non-lead outreach and getting more hunters and ranchers using non-lead ammunition. And that's really the solution to helping these condors and fighting that #1 mortality threat. Let's get in here. Missing birds, unfortunately, 171 and Traveler and 1100 Madrone are still missing. We are still actively looking for them. We've set up a couple survey flights. Basically, we send up an airplane that can track a bigger distance, bigger area. And basically they can kind of try to pick up signals in areas where we can never get to them on the ground. So we're starting to, you know, at this point, we're just hoping for a miracle that these birds pop back up. We're hoping maybe they just drop their radio transmitter. But, you know, Traveler, she has a lot of routine places she goes to, and we're just not seeing her there. So we're really, you know, we're definitely leaving out hope that one or two will show back up, but sometimes we just never find some of these birds, and yeah, it's unfortunate, and we basically won't ever know what really happened, but we're still looking, just so everybody knows, and we will continue to look over the next few months as diligently as we can. So nesting update, yeah, I think you guys have some fresh reports on that, right? Down to the crew. I know Maeve and Isaiah were out there checking on 1229, and you guys got some great photos. And then Tim recently checked on Jade 1204 and had some really awesome visuals of Jade learning how to fly, basically down around the coast. Anything else you guys want to add?
Yeah, just that 1229 last time we were out there was doing great. She was flying around for a super long time, like still in her nest location, but like taking longer and longer, you know, flights. had a fun little interaction with some golden eagles came by, and she dodged them and behaved just like I think you would hope wild condor would when presented.
Yeah, a little scary though, huh? I bet you guys.
Yeah, yeah, we were kind of on the edge of our seats out there a little bit, watching them, come at her. But yeah, overall, it was great getting to watch her fly farther and farther every time.
Yeah, that's how they learn, and it's amazing how quickly they do adapt, and even do these territorial golden eagles that float through, especially that area where they're nesting is pretty. There's a good density of golden eagles around there, so chicks that have fledged in that area in the past have definitely had their challenges, but they tend to navigate it okay. So yeah, you guys saw some pretty amazing stuff, and I have some photos that you guys took. Oh, this is my photo. This is the one I got lucky and found jade perched on this rock with this stellar view. It's one of the cooler photos to see. To me, this is kind of, having worked with the project so long and looking at Ventana Wildlife Society's condor recovery goals, this is it. A wild fledged bird, untagged, thriving on the coast. It just hit home with me when I was watching it. Just kind of came home and I was like, this is why we do what we do. And this is kind of the ultimate reward for all the crew. If you ask any of these guys, this is why we do it right here. So this was a nice treat for all of us to see Jade and doing so well. Another incredible shot by Tim. He just keeps wowing us with his photos. And again, I love this photo because you can see how perfect this bird is. Not a feather out of place. It's as pretty as the feathers will ever look before they start getting a little beat up out in the wild. But it's really awesome to see him at this phase with no tags, truly wild. It's just this is what it's all about right here. We want to see more birds like this out flying, and eventually one day take those tags off, and every condor, would be flying like this around in the wild.
It's awesome too, because we have an incredible volunteer program. So they're like going out on Highway 1 tracking for condors, and we train them on how to look for tags and everything. But now they're coming back being like, I saw the untagged, I saw 1204. So we put in all this work, and they were learning how to read tags and stuff, but then it's so special to see a bird that doesn't have tags at all.
Yeah, you hit the nail on the head, Kara. Yeah, and our volunteers, that's a great problem to have.
Yeah.
We saw a bird, but we didn't have a tag.
And we're like, awesome.
Yeah, that is very cool.
This is how we want all the condors to look. No tags.
All right, here's the photos you guys took out there. Maybe explain what's going on in the photos here.
Yeah, these are a couple pics we took during one of our nest observations, where we've gone out and been watching Penny as she's kind of been before and after her fledging, getting ready to fly, watching her soar up and down along the cliffs, getting her bearings of her surroundings and how flying works, how foraging for herself works, that sort of thing. The picture on the left is from our most recent session of observations of her nest. We came up to her. I say we came up to her. We watched from a very long distance through scopes, which is why the pictures that we have here are maybe not as stellar as the ones that we have of Jade. These are taken through binoculars and tripod scopes, but this was one of the longest flights that we've seen her do, kind of again flying up and around the mountains where her nesting cavity is, and the picture on the left is her actually just after evading those golden eagles that Isaiah was just talking about. And she's come to rest on this burnt snag that she's actually very fond of, which is just really cool because it's like we touched on earlier, it's great to see that she's able to, fend for herself in the wild, and kind of, deal with these situations that she will always have to deal with as a wild bird, and to be able to come out of them unscathed, sitting pretty, and we are very, very excited to be watching her, very proud of how far she's already come, and we're confident that she's going to continue to thrive out in the wild. So yeah, very
And I
cool.
think these two nests highlight what we see in nest types. Like this penny fledged from a cave and a cliff. Kind of, if you look on the one photo where she's flying, you can see those kind of pothole caves on the cliff face. Those are the type of nests they use on cliffs. Condors don't build nests, they find hollowed out cavities. And then again, you've got Jade on the coast, who fledged out of a hollowed out redwood tree. So the nest is similar in that it's up off the ground, and they don't, obviously it's just a cavity, but really cool to see how opportunistic they are. They don't necessarily have to be in a giant redwood. They can be on a beautiful cliff, and Big Sur has lots of both. So, and as you move inland to Pinnacles National Park, which has spectacular cliffs, it even gets more amazing. The cliff nesting gets just even more amazing. So, yeah, there's a lot of condor country out there. There's a lot of habitat for these birds, and the condors know how to find it. So we're pretty excited to see how well they're doing. We always kind of knew that they would find their old haunts, when we started releasing them back into the wild. And they've almost like they've picked up where their ancestors did, and really excited to see the birds doing so well. Let's see, here we are. Tagging day. This was an eventful day. You guys were busy, and 10 birds to tag. That's a lot. That's a ambitious day. But it went super smooth. Big kudos to you guys for pulling it off, and got their fancy new red vinyl ID tags on. So they'll have the white number with the underline on it. You can see the photo there with the red 39. That's the new tag. And the tags they came up with from the zoos are temporary tags. So you can see there's a radio tag attached to one vinyl ID, and then a GPS attached to the other. And so each bird received their transmitters. They also got a full health check thanks to Dr. Amy Wells, and they got their final booster for highly pathogenic avian influenza, most importantly. And that was also administered by Amy. So big thanks to Amy for helping out. And we also had a few of the Pinnacles crew helping us. Alicia Welsh. Who else joined us on that day, guys?
Caitlin and Raphael.
Yeah, so that was a huge help, huh?
Yes,
Mhm,
very
for
much
sure.
so.
Could not have done it without them.
Yeah. So yeah, again, we always say it takes a village. So yeah, big shout out to Pinnacles National Park and their crew. We work together, co-managing the Central California flock, and yeah, we help each other out big time. And so that was great to have their help. Yeah, this photo is great.
In this photo.
Yeah, shows all the little packages. They each get their own little package. It's great.
Yeah, we made a little bird bag.
Yeah.
Bird bag of goodies.
Yeah.
Yeah, you got to keep organized with 10 birds to tag.
Yeah.
So.
Yep.
And Maeve and Isaiah got to hold their first birds, so that's pretty darn cool. You guys still buzzing from that? Was that pretty cool?
Oh yeah, that was really spectacular. I mean, obviously, like, handling the birds is like something that we only do for like a limited amount of time to reduce stress and stuff, but like, yeah, it was really awesome to be a part of this and get to interact with these birds that we've been watching for so long, so closely. It was really great, really rewarding.
Yeah, it's amazing to see them up close. You really appreciate them, when you have them in hand like that. And your guys, your smiles. I don't think your smiles could be any bigger than those.
You got the good side. So.
It helps that I was like, smile.
I know, yeah. But they look pretty. They look like happy campers.
They look genuine though.
Yeah, it's surreal when you handle a condor for the first time, for sure. It's but
They
yeah.
made it look easy too.
Yeah, I heard you guys knocked it out of the park. So awesome job there. It's always, yeah, it's a trade-off. It's a temporary inconvenience to the birds, but for long-term benefit. So luckily we've been doing it long enough to where we have it, no pun intended, down to a science, and we can get it done pretty quick. All right, now we're into the release birds, but before I do this, I wanted to play one more video that a good set the stage for the release group. There was a lot of effort we mentioned that went into getting these birds up here. I'm trying to find it here. Hang on a second, folks. Let me get this queued up for you guys. All right.
Here at Ventana Wildlife Society, we have been releasing captive bred condors into the wild since 1997, both out on the coast in Big Sur and here at our field site in San Simeon. This year, all 10 of our birds are going to be released from the San Simeon field site. The site was built in 2015, and it's really been an awesome location for these captive releases.
These 10 birds came to us from both LA Zoo and Oregon Zoo. Another one of our biologists, Kara Fadden, and our interns, Maeve Mullen and Isaiah Woodard, drove down to pick up those 3 rookies at LA Zoo and bring them back up to San Simeon to put into the pen in the same day.
I actually got to go up to San Jose, where I met people from the Oregon Zoo who brought the birds all the way down from Oregon to San Jose. So I want to give a huge shout out to them for helping to transport the birds. That really helped us out a lot.
So we released the rookies from San Simeon because it's a little bit of a quieter area for them to get acquainted with being wild birds and integrating in the flock. There's just not as many adult condors down there. There's not as much competition, so they can really take their time learning how to be a condor.
So once these birds are released into the wild, Pinnacles, along with Ventana, are going to be watching these birds closely, watching them integrate into the wild population, and really kind of find their place within the Central California flock.
As part of preparing these rookies for release with the risk of highly pathogenic avian influenza out there, we've had to administer vaccines to these birds to give them some resistance. So a big shout out to LA Zoo and Oregon Zoo for providing the first injections of those vaccines. And just recently, our own vet that we partner with, Dr. Amy Wells from the Avian and Exotic Clinic here in Monterey, was able to give the second dose of that vaccine.
So before the rookies could even come to the San Simeon flight pen, we had to retrofit the pen to make it really protect against possible exposure to avian influenza from wild birds. So we added a roof to the pen, we added some netting on the outside of the pen, and so those measures were really, really essential for us to even be able to release birds at all this year. So big shout out to the rest of the crew and Maeve and Isaiah for helping with that process and making this pen as safe as possible for this year's cohort. I also want to give a huge shout out to all of you that are here tuning in today and all of you that have supported the work that Ventana is doing. So thank you for tuning in, thank you for supporting us, and we can't wait to see these birds fly free with you all today.
Such a great video, Meredith. Yeah, you guys did a great job on that. That's
I
so
was gonna say, it's cool. We like take the pictures and the videos, but never like see the editing process. So we were like, wow, look at that. That's awesome.
I know we haven't had a whole lot. I saw it for the first time yesterday. So Meredith's been working hard, and you guys, I forgot you did those interviews. So perfect. And Kara, I remember you were bringing the cameras along on the transfers, the little GoPros.
Yes.
Just so everybody gets a taste of, it's a lot of effort, boy, to get those birds to San Simeon, and that really captured it. And on that note, let's talk about these San Simeon birds going out today.
Yeah, we kind of made little profiles for each of them with a photo of them and then kind of all of their information. And you can find all of this information on Condor Spotter, but it's super awesome. It kind of says who the sire and the dam are, like, so their mom and dad, and then their hatch date, so their like birthday, how old they are, where they were hatched. And then we're gonna be kind of splitting this cohort by like who's gonna manage them. So either Pinnacles National Park or Ventana Wildlife Society. And it doesn't really mean anything besides like there are certain things that we change, but they're all the Central California birds, and they're all one population. So they're still all our birds, I guess.
Yeah, so 1123 female, she's going out today. She's part of the birds
Yes,
going out.
yes.
So that's exciting. Any little tidbits you guys want to, Isaiah, maybe you want to share about 1123? How's she looking?
Well, right now she looks like she's pretty ready to get out there. She's one of the birds on the ground that's been pacing back and forth in front of the doors. I don't. She hasn't exactly jumped out to us as one of the more dominant members of our current cohort. Right now, she's ready to be released with a bunch of birds who are much more dominant, but she's sort of flown below our radar just a little bit. But not to say that she's at all timid. We've seen her stick up for herself more than a couple times when it's come to feeding as a group, and she is looking in great condition. She's got her feathers popped up, she's standing proud, she's ready to go.
Awesome. Yeah, and then we have 1124 going out today as well.
I was gonna say, maybe don't look at the release dates because I might have forgotten to update them. But we will let you know which birds are going out or not. But yes, 1124 is going out today.
Yeah, those two for sure are going out today. Yeah.
Yes.
The next bird, let's see. Yeah, this bird is going out
In December.
okay. Yeah, in December. Yeah, so no big deal. Yeah, the 6th, and then this bird is going out today.
Yes.
1128.
Yep.
Yeah, so we have 4 females, 2 males going out today, right?
I believe.
Yeah.
So.
And then it's cool. We have like 3 Pinnacles managed birds and 3 Ventana managed birds, which just is how it happened. But we were like writing everything down and we're like, wait, that's kind of cool.
All right. And then we got 1128, and then 1136 is not going out today.
Correct.
Let's see. So yeah, we'll have 1136 and 1127 for the 12th, December 12th. This bird is going out today. Yeah.
Yes.
So 1137. Have you noticed any difference between the LA and Oregon zoo birds in terms of dominance?
It's kind of interesting. I mean, it seems like at least early on when the Oregon birds got here, the LA birds would always stick together, kind of like as a little clique. And I think that's still really true of like 1137 and 1139.
They're still together right now.
Yeah. They're often kind of perched up next to each other. And both of those birds are super tough. When everyone's trying to feed on a carcass, they shoulder their way up to the top and spook other birds off. So yeah, they're pretty pretty tough guys.
Yeah, I think 1170, who's the 3rd LA bird, is kind of upset that she's not going out today. So she was pretty mad when we shut the doors and she was on this side of the pen.
Cool. All right, I'm going to add in, I'm going to have Erin jump in from Pinnacles, Erin Leonard. She's was able to make it on, so we're going to get Erin on here. Here she is. So yeah, again, we work so closely with Pinnacles, and yeah, they were able to have one of their biologists sign in. There's Erin.
Hi.
Thanks for joining us. This is awesome.
Yeah, it's good to see you. This has been really nice to watch. I'm really excited to see some of our birds that I haven't even seen yet. So.
Yeah. Well, we do see the pattern. The San Simeon birds, they tend to it seems like they go to Pinnacles first more often than not, doesn't they?
I mean, I don't know what to tell you. I mean, it's pretty awesome over here.
Well, hey, thanks for joining us. We love working with you guys, and obviously with managing the Central California flock. And we were just going over the tagging day and how we always tell people, it's a team effort for sure. And depending on what we're doing, it's just it's definitely really great to have you guys as our long-term partners in recovery over here in Central California.
It's we couldn't do it without you guys either. So it's fantastic to be part of the team that we all work together. So
yeah, it is awesome. And Yeah, it looks like the weather's good down here. We're pretty excited, and yeah, we're just gonna go through the rookies here and their bios. And 11:39, this bird's going out today, right? Yeah.
Yep.
And then 11:41, I think this bird is going out
In December.
Mhm.
And then 11:44 is going out today, right?
Yes.
Yep.
What about 11:70? No, 11:70.
I just added a little thing. So 1170 was part of the HPAI vaccine trials. So when she came to us, she was fully vaccinated, but it was just cool.
She had special treatment.
Special bird.
I love that, the little starburst.
It's like,
Yeah, so that's all the I think we're about ready to connect with La Paz Middle School. Cece's there. I think if they can unmute, maybe you guys can unmute, Cece.
Yes. Hi guys. Hello, hello. So
Hey,
excited.
Cece, can you give us a quick introduction of
Yes,
obviously your role here at Ventana and what's going on today at the classroom?
of course. So hi again, my name is Cece. I've been a part of the education department on and off since 2018. I've been a part of their summer camp, their teen program. Currently now, we are partnering with La Paz Middle School. So I've been working here now for my second year. And so for this Condor release, we were able to partner up with an 8th grade classroom with Mr. Lamonea. He's here soon. But we are so excited. The kids are super excited to learn and ask questions. I'm excited to be here for the Condor release.
Awesome. Well, thanks for joining us. Have you guys been able to follow along and listen and hear everything okay?
Yeah, we were able to follow along. I know that maybe some of the questions that we're about to ask may have already been answered, but the kiddos are super excited. I think we have about 11 or 12 questions. So
Perfect.
whenever you guys are ready, we can have the kiddos come up.
Awesome. Yeah, let's get it going. Thank you.
I think we have Ariana coming up first. We're late. Maybe if we go first and then we do the 12.
How long do California condors live?
So how long do California condors live? Thank you.
Who wants to tackle that one?
I was gonna say, we don't totally know. So the oldest bird is 54 right now, and he's still breeding and like showing no signs of slowing down. The kind of all the birds were brought in the 80s. So we kind of haven't had a bird die of natural causes yet, but definitely kind of they rival our lifespan, which is crazy.
Yeah, we guess like 40 to 60 years in the wild. Andean condors, who are a close cousin of the California condor in South America, can live into their 60s and 70s. So we think it's around that long. So long lived. I mean, that's comparable to humans. So again, pretty interesting to have a bird that can live that long.
Thank
Great
you.
question.
All righty. We have our second student, I believe. Where's number 2? Okay, that's okay. I have the questions here. So our second question is, how many condors are there in Big Sur, and then how many total?
Yeah, so in Big Sur, we currently have, we are at 62. And then we also have 28 over at Pinnacles. And so the combined, we, yeah, the birds move around so much. So the number in Big Sur changes every day. You know, one day you could have half the flock there. The next day you might have only a handful there. Condors travel huge distances, so they can cover, 100 miles in a day fairly easily. And we'll have birds go back and forth from Big Sur to Pinnacles multiple times per day. So it varies. So we usually refer to the whole flock as, the entire flock, which we were showing that number earlier, after we release these birds will be over 100 birds. But yeah, it can vary day to day. Good question.
And then total is just over 500. So that includes captive birds, wild birds, all the birds.
Yeah, good point. Yep. Which is exciting because they were down to 27 and 87 left in the world. So.
All righty. Thank you. We have our third question. Yeah, you want to say there? You can. Or
You got this.
Do condors have teeth?
so his question is, do condors have teeth? Ooh, that's a good question. Yeah.
Aaron, you want to answer that one?
Yeah, I got this. Condors don't have teeth, but their beaks are otherwise pretty highly adapted to be able to eat what they eat, which is it's a primarily carnivorous diet. They are scavengers, which means that they do eat things that are already dead, but they kind of have hooked ends to their bills and very, very strong beaks overall, a lot of muscle power behind them that enable them to kind of cut and tear through meat, flesh, other tissue like that. So they have no problem breaking up their food before they swallow it.
Yeah, and the beak is kind of what we avoid when we handle them.
Yeah.
That's the business end. You don't want to have a condor's beak get a hold of your hand or anything like that. So we're always mindful of the beak when we're dealing with condors.
Awesome. Thank you, guys. Alrighty, next one, number 5. So I'll set up at one snap. Oh, is it number 4? It is number 4. Sorry, guys. Yeah, thank you.
Question is, how many eggs can a condor have at a time at their lifespan?
So how many eggs can a condor have and over their lifetime? Like at once and then over their lifetime.
Aaron from Pinnacles, you want to help us on this one?
Well, okay, so that kind of follows this question of how long do condors live. We don't actually know how long they live, but on average, condors, once they reach maturity at 5 or 6 years old, will lay 1 egg every 2 years. So if we do the math, it would be quite a few eggs that they could lay throughout their lifetime. But since we don't know how long they live, I can't give you a definite answer.
Thank you. Okay, now it's number 5. Sorry about that, guys. Okay. So this one says, how long does it take for the eggs to actually hatch?
Oh, that's a good one.
So it's pretty much like exactly, I think it's 59 days, almost on the dot, 57 days. Sorry, 57 days, like almost on the dot, from like when an egg is laid to when it hatches. So yeah, we try to track down based on like adult bird behavior and parent behavior, like when they've laid an egg, and then from that we can estimate when the egg is going to hatch and sort of prepare to like start getting observations based on that. But yeah, we're pretty much almost always exactly 57 days.
Wow, yeah, that's really cool. I had no idea. Awesome. So then, as far as like as the biologist, this is just a question for me. How is it for you guys when you guys have at least the eggs and you guys are there with them? So yesterday we brought like the puppet condor for them, and they really like that. They were kind of intrigued, and maybe I don't know if you guys can speak to that. And how is that for you and the eggs and the condors overall?
Like watching nests?
Yeah, like watching the nest or then feeding them. Like how does that happen, or over the course of how long is the time frame, or how does that work?
Yeah, so the puppets are primarily used in the captive breeding program. So we don't actually use them at all. That's kind of like an educational tool. And I think the captive breeding program is trying to like wean off of that and have more chicks that are parent reared. But so for like nest observations, we'll just try to locate the nest using their either GPS transmitters or their radio telemetry. And then we just kind of like sit and watch a cavity for many hours until we kind of have a sign or we can confirm that's where a nest is. And then we'll go back like every week or every other week, just trying to confirm that parents are still like attending the nest, and then hopefully getting kind of views on the chick. But sometimes it's pretty hard to see into those cavities. So we don't always like see the chick right away when they're still little. And then once they get more active and stuff, we can like, we'll see the chick a lot more. But yeah, that's kind of the nesting thing. And then for feeding, we kind of do carcass placements. So we have awesome dairies that we partner with, and they'll donate their stillborn calves and we'll place those out at night. And it's just kind of to get a clean food source into the condors, and also just a management strategy so that we can kind of check in on them and trap them to do those health checks and stuff.
Great, thank you. Okay, we have a few more questions, I believe. I think one of those. Right, sorry, let's get them count. So do certain genders have maybe a better chance at survival than the other?
So the question was, do certain genders, do males or females have a better chance of survival?
Or if that's maybe seen around, it was just.
Yeah, we have seen, that's a good, actually really great question, because the flock right now, the population in Central California is mostly male. The exact percentage, I think it's roughly, I think it's 60% male, 40% female, if I'm correct, somewhere around there. We haven't actually updated recently. And we're not totally sure why there's that skew towards males. It could be a way the females are feeding and out in the wild, that they're more likely to get lead poisoned if they go out and find a wild carcass that's has lead ammunition, spent lead ammunition behind, that something in the way they feed at the carcass or find carcasses with the hierarchy and everything, that the females tend to feed are getting more lead than the males. Yeah, we really don't know, but it is right now, there is a skew towards more males than females. And you guys can add anything you want. I'm kind of, that's been my latest understanding.
I've had some thoughts sometimes about whether or not certain behavioral traits that females will do have and contributed to getting the lead poisoning, like how they will eat bone chips at carcasses to get calcium. I've wondered if that maybe could contribute to, like, maybe they're accidentally picking up more, like if there's lead or other contaminants in the ground. But as Joe said, we don't really know. But it's just a little scratch in the back of my head that I've wondered about.
Yeah, that's a great question. Again, lots of questions that we haven't figured out yet, and I think that's what's fascinating about working with condors, is there's a lot still to be learned, as a biologist and as folks.
It's one thing about being a scientist is you're learning new things all the time, and sometimes you realize just how much you don't know.
Exactly. I've been working with these birds a long time, and they teach me something every day. It's pretty amazing.
So thank you, guys. I know we have a few more minutes. We do have quite a few more questions left, so we might skip around if that's okay.
Yeah.
Just so we don't hold you guys up too much. Maybe let's go ahead and skip to number 8. Sorry for number 7.
What is the possibility for a condor to survive lead poisoning?
So the possibility for a condor to survive lead poisoning.
I was gonna say, you can answer it. I feel like I've been talking a lot.
Sounds good. Yeah, it's I don't know. We know that like condors are exposed to lead on a pretty regular basis, and it can depend sometimes too on just how bad like the exposure is, like how much lead they've consumed or found. I mean, they can survive, they can endure a lot. Like we know for sure they can endure more than like humans can. But yeah, so it can really, sometimes it really only takes like one bad lead exposure that they can't make it through. And other times, you know, a bird can have like several exposures before before it eventually succumbs to one and passes away. But yeah, they're pretty tough. But still lead definitely causes a lot of damage, definitely hurts them a lot.
Alrighty, and then I guess I can just stick with the last question. And I think you guys definitely did touch on this right before we started, but how maybe are the best ways to better prepare the condors for the wild now that they're going back and being released?
Aaron, you want to jump on that one?
So when these birds are released, they have never really flown very far. They've always been in a pen. They've always had the food supplied to them. So I've noticed with some of the birds that it takes them a little while to even figure out that, hey, this thing is a carcass. You should, if you dig into it, there's food. So we give them a while to acclimate. And that mentor bird certainly helps quite a lot with that, with kind of teaching like, hey, this is something you can do to get food. Because instead of just, when I visited the zoo, I think they called it spleen day, where they had a bunch of cow spleens that they were feeding the birds. So it was already meat and ready to eat. And things like that, since they take that time to acclimate in the pen to different things that they would see in the wild, that really helps. But there's some things that we can't teach them, like how to fly long distances and things like that, because we obviously don't have a pen that large. And it can be rather comical when they first get out of the pen, because they go to land on like the tiniest little twigs on the trees, thinking that it will support their weight, and it doesn't. So there's definitely a learning curve when they first get out. Is there anything you guys want to add? I've only ever seen one cohort of birds released so far, so I'm still rather new to this.
I mean, Darian, you touched on this earlier, but just the San Simeon release site itself is a rather like remote location. So it's a pretty like, compared to in like Big Sur and Pinnacles, that has a lot of not only other condor activity, but a lot of activity from just other wild animals. This is kind of an area where they can get used to, you know, flying long distances without there being as great a threat of, you know, other competition or other predators like getting in the way of that and, you know, hurting them before they kind of have their bearings. The pen here is also open air, so it allows them to become familiar with kind of the climactic conditions that they're going to be exposed to in the wild, at least within, you know, this region. Like a couple weeks ago, or over the course of the few weeks that they've been here in the pen, they've already experienced kind of a broad range of like climate and weather conditions, from fog to rain to heat, really cold mornings, really, you know, warm days. They've had a wide spectrum of, you know, things to acclimate to. They've been rained on pretty heavily already, and they've figured out how to keep themselves warm, how to keep themselves dry as soon as the sun comes out. So they're getting used to that. I guess one other thing to add is we also have a false power pole in this pen that looks like a utility pole that you know see out in any kind of human settlement. It would give them a light shock if they were to land on that, and that's just another way of preparing them for, you know, if they see something that looks like a utility pole in the wild, don't land on it because it would hurt you. So that's just, I guess, another, you know, small way that we're getting them used to what life in the wild would be like.
The power pole is a small thing, but it is a big thing as well.
Yeah. I don't mean to underestimate that either. And of course, there's not as many wild condors here, but there are plenty of them here that are around enough so that they do, once they are released, even before their release, like interacting with them through the bars of the pen, like they're able to interact with these wild birds, observe their behavior, kind of, you know, how they're eating, how they're drinking, how they're just behaving in front of them. and kind of maybe internalize some of those behaviors themselves. But it also gives them at least a little bit of an introduction post-release to like the social hierarchy that they'll be getting into. They'll know that they can't really mess with big adult birds who have been around for decades, where they've only been here for, you know, a little over a year. So there's a lot of small ways, not very small ways, a lot of different ways that they get, you know, acclimated to what it's going to be like to be a wild bird while they're still in captivity.
Yeah, there's things we do at Pinnacles too, right after the release, that can help them as well. Like, so with being a national park, we have a lot of hiking trails, and those hiking trails go through some of the highest parts where the condors also like to come and land. And it's not uncommon for especially the young birds to come and land really close to people. And we obviously don't want that, because not all people will have the best intentions towards the birds. So we will sometimes have to haze a bird, where you make loud noises to spook it off and make it fly away, so it doesn't learn that, oh, there's a person there, but I don't care about it. But yes, you should care. So it's one of the things that we do very soon after the release, is keep an eye on if they're getting close to people, which, since San Simeon is so isolated, you probably, I hope that you don't have to deal with that kind of thing too much.
Yeah.
All really good questions. This is awesome.
Thank you,
Yeah,
guys.
we're probably
so
a few minutes
excited.
out from release.
Yes. You want to introduce yourself?
Okay.
Yeah, so Cece,
I'll
we
do the
talked about
countdown to it.
we talked about trying something new this year with, you know, obviously having the classroom here has been awesome. Hey, Christian, by the way, I can see you there. And we thought it'd be really cool to give these kids the honor to do a little countdown and give the crew down there the command to open up the doors. So first off, I want to check in with the crew. Are we geared up and ready, or are we ready to do this?
Can be in
Yeah.
like 5 seconds. We just have to grab the handle to open the door, and that's about it.
All right. So I'm gonna get the screen queued up here. Are you guys gonna start with the upper door, right?
Yes. Yeah.
All right. Let me. I want to get my camera as the main focus here. All right. So I've got, the camera right now is on the door that you see right in the center of that frame is going to slide open, and they're going to potentially come flying out that door. So we'll see what happens. But yeah, I guess it's down to La Paz Middle School to give us the green light here.
All right.
Everybody ready?
We'll go from.
Wait,
5.
we're not ready
Hold
yet.
on, sorry,
They're not ready. Hang on.
We'll let you guys know.
This is awesome.
Raise your hand if your teams are gonna fly out. How many of your teams are gonna chill? Raise your hand.
And as we're waiting for those
You might
guys,
have to kind of parallel hold upper door
so everyone
closed.
knows, sometimes they go right out, sometimes they
It's-
don't.
it
So
should be a
we'll
red one.
sit and wait. We'll be on quote, quote, Condor time.
Yeah, maybe it might snag, but it might not.
I'm ready when you guys are.
All right, Isaiah's got a hand on the handle. All right, you guys ready to give the command?
Great.
Okay, ready, guys? Let's start from 5. Ready?
And let's hear that loud.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
There they go.
And you went, what was that?
This is pretty common. The birds don't realize, they're like, oh my God, is the door open? You can see that bird right there, just kind of wondering what's going on.
Yeah, I think it's 11. Oh no, 11:39 is right there.
Definitely 11:37.
I'll zoom in a little bit here.
Yeah.
24 or 28.
Yeah, it's 11:28.
28.
39. Looks like they want to jump up.
Sometimes they don't realize that it's actually open. Oh, here we go. Who's going? No.
39 popped up.
Pretty exciting. Who's going to go first? Any guesses from the class there? Oh, who's this?
That's 11:39.
11:39, taking up pole position here.
11:24 is coming up.
It always amazes me, here they are ready to go, and then you open up the door and they're they're almost starstruck. They're like, what do I do?
Yeah.
Stage fright. How's that view? Should I zoom in a little more or zoom out?
I think you're good.
Yeah, the view you have, Joe, is pretty perfect.
Okay. Uh-oh, there's somebody turning.
11:24.
Oh, look at this.
Oh,
Ooh, nope. They just want to be together.
So any predictions from the crew? Who's going to go out first? Remember last year we had 3 birds like this and then another bird just came up and ran out.
Yeah.
I was kind of thinking 11:39.
I was also thinking that, although 24 is looking like they're really thinking about it right now.
So are there any wild birds on the outside?
Not like right out there.
But they're around?
Oh,
They
yeah,
were.
they're- come out when they least expect it.
And again, this is your guys' view over here on the right. There you go. This is how you guys are seeing it from inside the pen, looking out, right?
Yeah.
Who's that on the ground down there?
There's 11:23 and
11:44.
11:44.
And again, we never quite know what's going to happen, and this is a great example of that.
So here at the classroom, we wrote all of the Condor tag numbers on the board, and we all took a guess and a vote of who we think is going to come out first. And so
Who's
far
that?
we have
Who's ahead?
28.
28 is going to be the first.
Lead, hopefully.
28's up there on the perches.
Hi.
28's up there with 11:39 and 11:24, right?
Yes, and 11:37.
is it cold there today? They look like they have their ruffs up.
Yeah, it's cold. It's not like freezing, but it's cold.
But this is actually really picture perfect weather for release. We always worry about that. We've had to delay releases before. We'll sometimes have a storm hit right before the release times and the release days, or it's too windy. So we're really fortunate to have, there's something flying around out the front there. Is that a condor or a turkey vulture?
That's a turkey vulture.
Yeah, so have there been quite a few turkey vultures around? The smaller cousin of the condor?
Not too many. I think all the condors were taking over the carcass earlier, so they kind of stayed back, but now they're making moves.
Yeah, we get that question a lot too, is, about condors and turkey vultures. They have a similar job where they're cleaning up, they're nature's recyclers, but one's a lot smaller than the other. A turkey vulture is probably less than half the size of a condor. They, if they get to the same carcass, the condor always wins. But the turkey vultures just will sit and wait for the condors to get finished, and they can actually go in and get into parts of the carcass that the condor can't get to, which is a pretty gross thing to talk about, but it's for how these guys survive, it's pretty important. And so turkey vulture head's a little bit smaller, can get in between, areas where the condor can't. So it's pretty cool to see the relationship between these two different species.
When there's a carcass, it's like kids with a piñata.
Yeah.
It's chaos. Yeah, it's a different kind of pinata. There's not exactly.
I don't want to be a part of that one.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
I'll pass.
Thank God there's creatures like this on the planet to clean things up, you know? I mean, condors and turkey vultures and all scavengers just have such an important role. You know, that controls disease, and what they digest, no matter what it is, goes in, comes out clean. So it's pretty amazing. Nature's developed some pretty amazing creatures to deal with that. It's all by design, so it's pretty cool. Wow, we have a major stalemate here.
Yeah, they are uninterested.
I'm
You're
curious.
like, "It's
That's why I was
nice-
asking
nice
about.
and warm here with my buddies.
I know. Yeah, and that's why I was asking about if there are any wild birds around. They might come in.
I was really wondering 9:36 earlier, like if we opened the lower one, if they would just walk
They
on
walk
in.
in,
It
yeah.
might happen. What's up, everybody?
There's no food in here, so
Somebody's looking there. I can see. I think it's 11:39. Keeps looking.
oh, buddy, go.
There they are.
Oh, that's a good view on that camera.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can. Wow, you can see the GPS tags on 1124 and 1128, and the little tiny solar panels that keep those tags going. So did we have a good? Has the data been coming in on those tags already?
Yeah. It's working.
Yeah. Yeah, I think we can all agree GPS transmitters have kind of revolutionized how we do our work, how we track condors. They're not only used with condors, but I'm sure a lot of folks have read, they're used with great white sharks, a lot of different animal species, especially animals of concern. It's a great tool to monitor populations and movements and track animals to different areas they go that we can help protect. You know, like for condors, protecting these key foraging areas, these key nesting habitats, and for, you know, for us figuring out how to reduce the amount of lead in their diet. You know, it's been really important. The GPS has shown us how they use the landscape, where they feed, and it's helped us target where we need to do our most non-lead outreach and that sort of stuff. But yeah, I mean, the GPS has just been, God, just unbelievable. It's hard to, you know, we get the problem is you have too much data. I mean, that's the part we always mention is it's such a powerful data set. And thank God we have Evan at Ventana to sort through it all and make his amazing maps. I do have a map of Evan's to show here, if keep an eye on the birds here, but he gave us a map showing how released birds, when they get released at San Simeon, the kind of the progression they make in movement and move away from the release site. It's pretty cool. Yeah, I might pull it up while we're waiting here.
I'm gonna say usually when we're distracted is when they go. So.
I know. Let's see here. Yeah, here's our release group today. And then let's see here. Oh yeah, here we go. Here's the map. And this is pretty awesome. Really shows you how far these birds go. You see the San Simeon release site there on the star, and Big Sur up to the north along the coast there. And then you can see Pinnacles up there to the north. That'd be northeast in California there. And you can see that, you know, the first couple months, they stay really close, that blue bubble, they stay really close to the San Simeon site. And then the third month, they start getting out a little bit more. You can see some birds have been moving up towards Big Sur. And then by month 4, they're even going out a little further. Month 5 is that brown blob. And then you get up to month 6, they're all the way up to Pinnacles, Big Sur. They've basically made it to the other release sites. And typically that's through following other birds. But yeah, it takes 4 to 6 months until they make it to other release sites. And But most of that first few months is going to be at San Simeon. So that's why it's really nice that we have Isaiah and Maeve down there holding down the fort, because the next few months are going to be pretty exciting to watch down there. So yeah, we're excited to see if
I
they
know
have,
for us up here, we always get really excited when we get the first time we hear on our receivers the first of the San Simeon birds.
oh, that's
And
right.
the last couple of years, it's been a bit of a contest to see who can get all the released birds first between everyone who's tracking. So it's like, oh, I didn't get this bird today, but you got the bird.
You got 10 this year, so it's going to be quite the competition.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, it does seem like the trend is they're going to pinnacles first.
Yeah.
At least the last few releases. I remember the first few releases we did, they down at San Simeon, they were heading up to Big Sur, but now the trend seems to be they kind of get over to the east there and just head on up.
Well, they follow their buddies, you know, because they're so social. And for the last couple of years, you didn't have a site at Big Sur after the fire. So maybe they're following your buddy to where the food's at.
Yep. And I mean, it's line of sight for, you know, we've always wondered how far condors can see each other, but the pinnacles, or at least the peaks, North Chalone and South Chalone, are visible from the San Simeon release sites. So they might even be able to just spot birds from a really far distance.
Oh, I didn't know that. That's really cool.
They can't see all the way up to the Big Sur site. They can see as far as like Cone Peak, I think, but then they're blocked by Cone Peak.
I mean, if it's a foggy day on the coast, that might also play a part, since you guys get the coastal fog that we don't normally get.
Yeah, you know, I mean, last year we had such a big winter on the coast. Maybe that influenced them too. You know, just inland obviously wasn't as bad. But the Big Sur coast, boy, it got hammered last winter. Oh, we got some movement. What do we got? Oh, somebody's stretching. Here we go.
Here we go. 11:39.
Isn't that who the class picked?
No, 28.
Oh,
But we're not there yet. 11:39 hasn't
Look
left
at that.
yet.
You're right there. You're tasting freedom. Go. You know, it's interesting. Oh, he's 11:39 is going to do it.
It's getting breezy.
Oh no, he's going to turn around.
Maybe.
Yep.
You got it, buddy.
Oh, someone else just came in behind him.
Oh, they might just go like, they might just start rolling out. Oh yeah. Come on, 39.
Go 11:39.
Is that a good angle there? Should I zoom out a little more?
I think that's good.
Come on, buddy.
I just love how you can see the gears working.
Yeah,
Oh, there we go.
Woo!
Oh, look at that.
Oh my god.
Beautiful landing.
Yes.
Well done, dudes. Ooh.
It
Oh,
begins.
somebody else
Here
coming?
we go. Another one's coming.
Oh, they're all getting excited now, huh?
Yeah. Oh.
Who's
this?
Oh,
That's so
There we
quick.
go. Who's this?
You can't tell.
That might be 11:28.
Oh no, 44 is there.
Oh, 11:23.
28, 11:28.
I think it's 11:23. Oh, nope.
Ah.
God, so close. It was right there. Oh my God.
You fool.
What's 11:39 doing?
Just kind of standing there.
But right at the carcass, though.
Ooh. Can I zoom?
Yeah, you can check out that.
I can't see. Closer to the pool?
Yeah, we've got it. Yep. Nice.
Oh, there you go. Nice. There she is. I'm not sorry. There you
Ooh, we're feeding.
Oh, and he's feeding. That's going to draw the other birds out. That's for us biologists. That's probably the number1 most exciting thing a condor can do after it gets released.
Yes.
It alleviates a lot of
11:36 is
stress.
so mad.
Yeah,
That's
is
our-
11:36 being released today?
No.
Oh no.
He's just in the foreground.
Yeah.
Poor guy.
Pacing back and forth.
You go out in
So
a
she
couple
goes,
weeks, buddy. Just
Pick
hang on.
me, pick me, I'll go.
She'll be out there in a couple weeks.
I was gonna say 11:39 left at 10:28. So the classroom got 28, right?
Hey, got the time right. Cool.
You got the time.
How can they resist just watching 11:39 feed by himself?
I know. 11:39 is when I'm more dominant.
I'm
Oh, the
waiting for one of the wild condors to come in and swoop them off.
Yeah,
Welcome to
I do know.
the wild, buddy, rookie.
11:44 is right there on the ground.
Yeah, 11:28 is probably bringing up the third in terms of overall cohort dominance. which is the
Okay.
toughest one.
Yeah, it's another thing we always like to observe is when these young birds go out to see how they fit into the hierarchy. There's definitely a pecking order out in the wild, dominant birds, older birds. San Simeon right now, it's 758, right?
Yeah. Oh, here we come. A wild bird is coming up.
Oh boy, here we go. This is his first interaction.
9:36.
It's his first interaction with a wild bird ever.
Yeah.
Oh, look at this.
Oh, wow. She's so pink.
I know. Isn't it crazy to see the 900 birds so adult-like?
They're so colorful.
Yeah, so I think everyone's noticed the younger birds have the darker molt pattern on the head, the darker plumage, and the adult, they don't get that brilliant pink red head until they reach about 5-6 years old. Aaron touched on it earlier. That's when they reach breeding age. So 936 literally has just come into, we're excited this year. This could be her first attempt at breeding. She potentially will pair up with Thunder Chief 758, who's a dominant male down there. So how's that looking, by the way? Are they
6 years old this spring?
What was that?
She'll be turning 6 this spring.
Yeah, she's
Starting
right
with
on
this.
that. They've had females lay eggs at that age. So that's on the front end, obviously. That'd be the earliest.
So she's been hanging out with Thunder Chief.
Oop, here we go.
Oh,
Yeah, she had.
Oh.
Whoa!
Whoa.
Nothing.
Go 1139. Whoa.
Smacked her off.
Oh my gosh.
What?
That was incredible.
I'm shocked.
I'm shocked.
Wow. 1139 is tough.
Has he been a really dominant bird in the pen?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He and 1144 have been both maybe the most dominant birds of the rookies. They kind of own the carcass when when the other birds are trying to feed.
My gosh.
That was impressive. We'll see how he fares when Thunder Chief shows up.
I know.
I don't think it's gonna go quite like that. Has he been around or no?
Yeah, he's here.
Oh, he's here. Okay. He's gonna, yeah, it's just a matter of time.
Yeah. Yep.
But yeah, when did 936 and 758 start showing signs that they might pair up?
They just started hanging out like last summer, but
Mhm.
just spending time together.
I know it's funny when we start talking about the pairings, it almost sounds like a soap opera sometimes.
It is totally a soap opera.
'Cause, yeah, I mean, Pinnacles has its own drama going on. I mean, with the pairs over there. Hey, so Aaron, how are the wild fledges doing?
Oh, they're doing good over here. So we have one of our birds has a transmitter on it, and one does not. So the one that has the transmitter is staying really close to home. That's 1215. And she's, of course, because she has the transmitter, she's staying close to home. So we haven't seen her move around too much. The chick that is untagged, it's been very hard to find because he's really exploring a lot of the canyons. And of course, we don't have anything on him, so we can't track him with anything except our eyeballs. So
the old fashioned way.
The old-fashioned way. But yesterday at our trapping facility, I did catch an untagged bird. So We're not sure who it is because there was no parents around. So Raphael, one of our interns, is up there today. He's going to be trying to compare some of the to see if we can figure out who it is by their molt pattern. Tim Huntington, who runs the Keiko Central, he sent us a picture of 1174, which is one of last year's chicks.
Yep.
From you guys that is still untagged, and he's growing 2 wing feathers, and so we're gonna try and on the picture that Tim took on the 14th of November. So we're gonna see if we can maybe see if it's still him, if that's him, or otherwise.
Yeah. So you haven't handled the bird yet?
No, we're gonna be doing that tomorrow.
Oh, that's awesome. So that's news. That's really exciting. That's the last, supposedly the last untagged
from last year.
From last year that we've been trying to catch.
If it is 1174, which I'm guessing it is.
I put my money on it for sure.
Yeah. I mean,
but we've been surprised. How many times have we been surprised? We've lost count. Yes.
1238 sire was at the facility, our trapping facility yesterday, and he acted aggressive towards this untagged. So I'm guessing. So I don't think it's 1238, the untagged chick from the park. So. And I feel really skeptical about 1204, your chick from the, Big Sur, making it all the way here without their parent.
Yeah, so. That would be a big stretch. Yeah, that would be a big one. That's an out. Yeah, that would be, I would say.
That would be shocking. Yeah. I would be blown away.
Yeah, we lost connection with the crew down there, so I'm waiting for him to pop back up. Mike, you can help me keep an eye out on the list and see if they. I think we'll have to let him back in again through the, I think it was under Darren's. Yeah, they're at a remote spot and the signal is inconsistent down there. So they might've had a little interruption in the internet, which has been known to happen.
Joe, could you tell us a little bit more about that remote spot? There's some interest in things like what the elevation is there, how close it is to the ocean, a little bit about the habitat that they're entering, maybe set the scene a little bit for what the released birds are going to expect.
Yeah. The Central California coast, for folks that have checked it out, it's pretty dramatic. It's, mountains meet the sea. The San Simeon site's very similar to the Big Sur site in terms of its proximity to the ocean. It's within a couple miles of the ocean. It's about 3,000 feet in elevation, similar to the Big Sur site, which is around 2,800 feet. The ridges and mountains around there can be much higher, up to about 5,000 feet. So it's really perfect. It's a little more open than Big Sur. Big Sur is dominated by, giant redwood groves. A little more, I would say it's a little more forested. San Simeon's a little more open area, rolling hills. And not as steep as Big Sur. So, it's also has a really strong pinniped population. There's a famous elephant seal colony for folks that have been to San Simeon that you can see right from Highway 1. It's a huge congregation area of, thousands of elephant seals stop over there and breed and,
Yeah, and Julie wants to know if they've been documented yet feeding on those elephant seals.
Yeah, we've had one feed, not at that particular, not at the real accessible tourist area, but that population, that little, basically that's the most concentrated of the elephant seals, but that concentration goes well north of there up towards San Carpoforo Creek. And we've had condors feed, they fed on, we believe we couldn't confirm, but it was most likely an elephant seal, but like an unknown pinniped, just north of that famous haul out area of the, where the elephant seals hang out. So they're right there. That's a really tough spot for them to get to, right where the tourist zone is. And fortunately that elephant seal population goes well north of there in pretty good concentrations. And yeah, historically that was probably, hundreds of years ago, that was probably a consistent food source for the birds. And like we see in Big Sur, we have a sea lion haul out up in Big Sur that is a regular feeding area for the flock. Any given week, there's a sea lion carcass out for the birds to feed on. And again, those ocean food sources are way more important than we ever imagined. And, periodically we have a dead whale wash up, and that will feed the birds for months. You can imagine a whale weighing multiple tons, providing multiple tons of meat that can feed a flock for quite a while. And doesn't happen all the time. Fortunately, we don't have a lot of, we wouldn't want a lot of whales dying. But when they do, the condors are there and they're accessible. The condors clean them right up. And it's over the years, they found their first one in 2006. And that was the first time condors had been seen feeding on whales on the West Coast of United States since Lewis and Clark spotted condors feeding on a gray whale carcass at the mouth of Columbia River in the early 1800s. So it was a pretty historic day when we found those birds feeding in Big Sur on a beach gray whale. And it was that they fed on that whale for over 6 months. It was pretty crazy. And then since then, every few years we'll have something wash up, and if it's accessible to the birds, boy, it's a bounty for the flock. They were nesting one year and feeding on a whale, and we've never seen nestlings that big. They were so well fed with whale meat. I don't know what was in that whale meat, but they broke all the growth curve records that year.
I remember that well. And
2012, that was an amazing year. We learned a lot about just how these wild food sources can impact, and increase, it increased their breeding success that year. They got more chicks out than they ever had. And not only that, the chicks were just incredibly healthy. So it was really cool to see that connection and this connection that they have with the ocean. And I've even been over at Nest in Pinnacles, and we'll be climbing up into the nest and we'll smell whale meat. And we're like, oh my God, they're actually feeding on the coast and flying 50 miles inland to feed their chicks in a cave at Pinnacles. So it's been pretty amazing. It goes to show their ability. They can easily travel, 100, 150 miles in a day, especially if they're hungry. They're going to cover, with those big 10-foot wingspans, they can cover just huge amounts of terrain, using the mountains and the thermals, and not really use a whole lot of energy. I mean, just really well designed for what they do and how to survive. And that 10-foot wingspan comes in handy. And they're nature's perfect glider, most efficient. In my opinion, they're definitely one of the most efficient flyers on the planet.
Yeah, Joe, let's bring back the crew. They're back. They need to be promoted as panelists, so look for them under Kara.
Oh, they're back okay, they're under Kara. Okay.
Yeah, so we'll get the crew back. We have a question from Sandra. Are condors social? Do they flock? Do they share? The answer is yes, yes, and yes. The first one, yes and no. Condors can be territorial if they are in a nesting territory during the breeding season, certainly. And some of the younger birds might think condors that are dominant are not being very social when they're being pushed off a carcass. But generally, yes, condors are social. They do flock. They do benefit from each other in terms of finding food and sharing those resources. So I think we have our crew.
Are you guys back? Can you hear us okay?
Yeah, we're back. We can hear you.
All right. We had some technical difficulties. I was telling everybody the internet and the cell signal up there is spotty at best. So we're glad to have you back.
Yeah, we're back on a phone right now. So camera is great, but yeah, well, we're back.
It looks great. I mean, it actually looks really, really good.
Okay.
Yeah. So what's the status of 1139?
He's chowing down.
Looks like is there somebody out there with him?
There's turkey vultures out there. With them right around in there, but
is he pushing them around or?
No, he's ignoring them for now. There's a turkey vulture pulling on the tail of the cow carcass, right by him. But yeah,
he says, "Who are these tiny things?"
Yeah,
they're your tiny cousins. Yeah, still no action with We still got some birds just perched up there. Oh, somebody looks like they might be making a move here. Nope. You know, I think all condor biologists can identify with, we call it being on condor time. You think the condor's about to do something, take off and make a amazing flight, and then they don't do anything for 3 hours. It's like, it's a part of the zen of being a condor biologist.
And what happens if they don't go out? Is the crew going to be up there all day?
Yep.
When do you decide, okay, they're not leaving, and then would they be released again tomorrow morning, or do they have to wait until the December release?
Oh no, yeah, we'll wait till the end of the day. That's what happened last year. We had a same sort of, and Darren, jump in. We had a similar pattern where we had a bird go out right away, and then the others kind of trickled out. And then Wild Bill 1085, he hung on right till the end and finally went out right before sunset. And that was the last bird to go out, but we were prepared to shut the doors and just reload for the next day. So yeah, worst case, excuse me, if they stay in that pen, we'll just shut the doors tonight so they're safe. We wouldn't want anything, you know. There's a perimeter fence. That's a good thing to describe to folks. There's a perimeter fence around the release pen to keep out big predators. You know, we worry about bear. There's black bear down at San Simeon, mountain lions, bobcats. So we have a perimeter fence that basically keeps that enclosure safe and where they feed. It's electrified, and it's been really effective at keeping out the big predators and making it safer. But regardless, at night, we would still just shut the doors just to ensure their safety, just in case something did breach the fence. We just want to make sure they're protected inside that pen. And that pen's super strong. It's actually designed to not only hold condors, but it could potentially, you know, it's designed to hold big game, you know, big tigers, grizzly bears, you know, it's a very robust release pen. So if they're in there, they're safe. So we'll reopen the doors tomorrow morning if we get to that point. But I'm still I'm guessing they're all going to be out by the end of the day. I'm hedging my bets there.
Ooh, whoa! So yeah, 1089 just came up, and there, yeah, her and
Can you zoom in on the phone? Wow, there's a battle going on.
1139 just chased off 1089 too.
Wow.
Yeah.
He's a tough guy, apparently.
Yep.
I might zoom out here real quick and just give it a look.
Yeah. I don't think I can do much on this camera here.
It's worth noting that both 936 and 1089 are wild-born condors.
Yeah.
Well.
Yeah.
Alrighty, so it looks like La Paz is unfortunately gonna head out, but we wanted to say a big thank you to all of you for inviting us here. I know that the kids really enjoyed this, and hope the rest of the Condor release goes well.
Well, thank you so much. That was really awesome. Great question.
Bye.
Keep an eye on the internet. Keep an eye out for later if you get a chance. Tune in and see what happened.
You guys.
Thank you, everyone. Bye-bye. That was awesome. Yeah, they had some great questions. I was impressed.
Yeah, I was too. Good kids.
Yeah, so, oh, go ahead, sorry.
I was just saying good kids.
Oh, yeah. And that's one of the schools, Mike, right, that our education program works with on a regular basis?
Yes, we are growing by leaps and bounds in our education program. We have 5 outdoor. We have something happen here. We have 5 outdoor education coordinators. CC is one of them, and so we serve more than 1,000 youth with outdoor education programs annually.
Yeah, it's amazing. how much our education program has expanded, God, just in the last few years. It's been awesome to watch. And we're glad, we were really excited to expand our live release event this year to include the classroom aspect. So that went really well. We have never done it. So it was, that went really great. And then on the 12th, we'll actually be with Los Padres Elementary School. Will be joining us, class of second graders.
Ooh.
And again, that will be really fun. And again, you know, just to get that next generation, you know, thinking about condors and conservation and just seeing kind of the behind the scenes of what it takes to get these, you know, some of these species back on their feet. I think, you know, and it was great I was psyched to see them do the countdown and have us open the doors. That was pretty cool.
Well, speaking of behind the scenes, a lot of people are noticing the crew and their surroundings, and a lot of stuff in the background. Looks like some bottles, some things that you're working with, and
tags hanging on the wall. Yep.
A well-weathered roll of toilet paper. Christy in the audience, she was interested in those tags that were strung up like a necklace behind the crew. Are those just extra tags? What are those for?
Sorry guys, we did just have 2 birds leave here recently. So we just had, who was that? Oh yeah, 1123 just went out like a minute ago, and there's another bird that just went out too. I think it was 1128.
Oh, there's 2 birds that went out?
Yep, yeah. Oh, I think, yes, I think all 3 of them are at the lower Carcass on the slope. We can't really see them too well from here.
Yeah, 1128 still on the perch.
Okay, I think it was 1124 then.
Yeah, we see him. I got him.
Awesome.
Let's see who it is. Look at that. Feeding together. How perfect is that? 1123 and 1139. And there's another condor coming up the hill here. This is 1120. This is the 3rd one. So we have 3 birds out. It is 1124. Confirmed. And they're all feeding.
Awesome.
Yeah, because that's just out of your view, right?
Yeah, we can't see anything.
That's pretty perfect. Looks like somebody else might be getting ready here. I think they're all getting excited. Is there a little breeze that kicked up? It looks like that bird's.
Yeah, it's windy.
All right, we got half the birds out.
Somebody on the inside is very unhappy that they are still
I've been watching that bird too, pacing back and forth.
In the door.
Reminds me a lot of one of our chicks from last year, 1145. Still hasn't figured out how to get in our trap, which is the door opens on the top and they drop in. So she just runs around the outside constantly trying to find her way in. She's actually still begging from her father, 589, and he still feeds her, even though he's got another chick that just fledged. So he gets like Dad of the Year award, but she's prefers to beg from dad rather than actually figure out how to drop in.
You know, we've seen that too. We've seen wild fledged chicks get fed by their parents really late, like into their twos, and not as old as 3, but
Yeah.
it is amazing.
But he's got another chick he's feeding at the nest.
He's a busy guy. Oh wait, here we go. This bird's about to go. It looks like 11/28. Oh, 11/28. Come on.
I'm thinking about it.
I know. I think it's going to happen. So are all 3 up on that perch? The 3 that are still in there?
No, one is on the ground. 1144 is still sitting by the lower door.
Yeah, maybe.
Joe, we're gonna leave and then come back so we can be.
What's that?
You said something about leaving and then coming back.
Are you guys going to log out? Are you going to log out and come back?
We're
Yeah, you're breaking up.
gonna.
The famous Zoom. Here we go.
Oh, yeah.
All right, Mike, keep an eye out for him. Here we go. Look at this. This looks, they're definitely getting antsy up here on the top perch.
Mhm.
I'd be anxious too if I saw all my buddies having lunch out there.
Man, they're having steak for lunch.
Yeah, let me check. I don't want to, I know Murphy's Law, the minute I go to look at the birds on the slope, that they're gonna go out the door. I'll do a real quick check here. All right, they're still down there.
Is that all 3 of them together?
Yeah.
Nice.
And then we've got Kara back, ready to be promoted as panelist.
All right. All right, there's the 3. They're still down there feeding. I'm going to go back to the release door.
Envious turkey vulture standing nearby.
Yep. Let's get, is it under Kara or Darren?
Kara.
All right.
All right.
Got him back.
All right. I'm afraid I need to get going too. So thanks for having me with you guys today. This was wonderful.
So awesome to have you, Aaron. Thank you so much.
Thanks,
Oh,
Aaron.
wait. One board, 1144 just went.
Whoa.
Yes.
That was awesome. Right on cue for you, Aaron.
Yes.
I just had to threaten to leave.
I know, that's hilarious. It only works.
All right. Have a good day, everyone.
Thank you,
Bye,
Aaron.
Aaron.
Thanks for
Yeah,
joining us.
thank you.
Big thanks to Pinnacles. All right, let me get you guys back on the spotlight. You guys see the bird go out right when we...
I go, "Ah." And then I looked up.
Yeah, you're still breaking up a little bit, but it does sound better. Oh yeah, Mike, there's what you were talking about, all the gear behind them.
Yeah, the question was about all those tags there, and what are those, just extra tags or tags you're planning to use, or decoration or souvenirs, or what do we have there?
So those are all the temporary tags that Joe was describing. Like the pre-release birds, when they come to us from the zoos, they have these temporary tags on. And so these are like through the years since 2015, all the temporary tags that every bird that's been released here has worn.
I see.
These are some of the birds from this cohort.
Yeah. Yeah. So those are the 3 from LA Zoo this year, right? Yeah.
Yeah. You might have seen them in the presentation.
And Kelly also wants to know if we could once again go over our number and color system for keeping track of the identity of birds. What do the colors mean? What do the numbers mean, and so forth?
Sure.
You
yeah.
don't have to.
So these ones back here, a lot of them are inaccurate because they came just from the zoos or whatever, there are placeholder tags that have most of them have the correct number, I think, but not the right color. The color refers to the 100 series that the birds are in. So like all of these birds are 1100 birds, so they're red. And then the number is, the other digits in that. So all the 100 birds are red with a white underline. So like 1139, whichever ones are down there, 1144, you can see, all of their individual digits on there. And all the 100 series, different 100 series have different colors associated with them. Make it
Yeah,
easy
and
to tell.
Condor Spotter is a great tool. If you see a condor in the wild, you get a tag number, tag color, and a number. Just condorspotter.com. And it's designed by Tim Huntington, and it's a great tool for figuring out which bird you're seeing. You'll get a link right to its bio at our ventanaws.org website. We have all the bios of every bird there. So it's a great tool for out in the wild because there are a lot of tag colors, a lot of tag numbers to follow. And pretty cool. We got all 4 released down there feeding together. How perfect is that? Big kudos. You guys had everything to do with it, right? You gave him a memo last night? Did you put a little memo?
Yeah.
Gave him a pep talk.
We
Yeah.
we had that schedule and agenda for the event today that we just passed on to them.
You're like, okay, guys, at this time, stall a little bit, build up the drum.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty. This is picture perfect right here. Look at that.
So for those just joining us, we're up to 4 birds out of the pen now that have been released. There are 2 more still in there, right?
Yeah, so we have 1123, 1124, 1139, and 1144 are out right now in view. They've all been released. And then we still have up at the pen, I'll zoom up there real quick. We have 1128. And who else we have?
1137.
1127. Oh, 1137.
37.
Got it.
1137.
So 1128 and 1137 are still taking their sweet time here.
Yeah, they're just a little taking their time. And to clarify, the carcass that they're feeding on is a carcass we proffered to them. It's a calf carcass, and the carcasses that we provide for the condors are from local dairies, stillborn calves, and so we take those off their hands and bring those for the condors, and so we regularly provide proffered carcasses like that as a supplemental food source to give them a source of food that we know does not have lead, and it's also a good way to nourish those birds just starting out in their young lives.
Yeah, and again, the carcasses are all placed at night. The big key there is we don't want the birds to associate us with food, so condors can't see well at night. Fortunately, they are not nocturnal, so they see it just like we do, and so it's a great time. So last night the crew was out there placing these carcasses in the wee hours of the morning when it was pitch black, and dragging these carcasses to these strategic spots. So when these birds went out, they'd find them, and mission accomplished. You guys nailed it.
And circling back to the number question, Kathy asks about the what determines what the numbers will be. We're just one release site out of several, and those numbers are coordinated through Fish and Wildlife Service. These are stud book numbers, and so they might be consecutive, but these numbers are unique just to keep them apart from other populations in Southern California, Arizona, and so forth. We all work on the same numbering system. When I started with Ventana Wildlife Society, we were putting numbers in the 400s on young birds. Now we're up over 1,000. So running out of colors, running out of numbers, but these are generated by the stud book numbers that are more centrally assigned to condors. Anything more you want to add to that, Joe?
No, just like to point out our oldest Condor, 168, Beak Boy, he's was released in 1997. He was hatched in spring of 97. And he's our oldest Condor and currently in Central California. And he's still a force to be reckoned with out there. He is now pushing 26 years old. Hard to believe. I remember releasing him just like these young birds. Just hard to believe, you know, that much time has passed for one, and then that he's still just in his prime. So it really goes to show that, you know, these birds definitely live 50, 60 years in the wild. And he still has a mate in Big Sur. He loves an area south of Big Sur on the Big Creek Reserve. He's had a territory down there for a long time, and with 208, and they've been a long time parakeet. They've been nesting for years. So just goes to show, you know, if these birds are allowed to, you know, to carry on their lives and not have the threat of lead, that they can live a long time, and you know, to be the long-lived species we know they are. So yeah, really cool to see 168 still out there doing it.
So the first day out in the wild might be a little bit stressful for the birds. Some questions are, what happens to the pen after we're done here tonight? Do these doors stay open, and could the birds come back in if they wanted to, or do we close the door and they're out in the wild, they're good to go?
Yeah, the birds that have been released, life in the wild starts now. We'll shut, you know, the birds that haven't been released will be shut in the pen tonight to keep them safe. But the released birds will, you know, fortunately condors are instinctively driven to perch in the highest place they can find. So they'll go find a big tree, and they'll probably follow some of the 1089, the 936, 758. They'll probably follow those birds to a tree that they like. And condors are social. They'll roost together at different trees. So we expect in most releases, more often than not, all the birds go find a great place to roost. And that's what the crew will be checking as we get closer to sundown, to make sure all the birds are in a safe spot, even the birds we released. And if one is close to the ground, then if we have to, we'll sleep nearby the bird in a sleeping bag just to kind of keep stuff away. It's really rare. We haven't had that happen in a long time. But we are prepared. Those guys are prepared to do whatever they have to do to keep the birds safe that first night. But they tend to get it real quick. They tend to figure out, I've got to be off the ground. It's kind of hardwired into these birds.
Mm-hmm. So the Condor crew can expect a long day today. The work doesn't end when the birds are all out of the pen. The work is just beginning. A lot of monitoring involved, and certainly can understand shutting the doors behind them, letting them back in with open doors is not as safe as them perching in a tree and in a natural environment to avoid predators. And so that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, we've had them come back and perch on top of the pen, which is pretty high. You know, it's a safe place for them to perch for the night. We've seen that happen. And then the tree, right, there's a couple big trees right outside the pen that they'll perch in. They have lots of options at San Simeon. There's a lot of huge pine trees and oak trees, and just no lack of great perching. So there's a lot of options. It's harder for them not to use, put it this way, it's harder for them not to use a perch than it is to sit on the ground. It's you know, so those we're usually we have pretty good luck there with the birds faring well that first night.
And what are some predators that you might be concerned about if they were to be on the ground feeding alone? Certainly if they're in a group, they have other condors to monitor a predator. But what would you be concerned about as far as what predators might be out there for them?
Yeah, I mean, I think bobcats are a big one. Obviously mountain lions, you know, any of these big ground predators, coyote, you know, and of course a black bear, you know, I think they're pretty opportunistic as well. So if they're if they're on the ground inside the enclosure, we feel pretty good. We feel pretty safe. But if they get outside the enclosure on the ground, they definitely those birds got to keep their eyes out. And the instincts kick in pretty quick. They'll see what the turkey vultures do. There's so many wild cues out there, and seeing what the older birds are doing, and these young birds instinctively follow what the older birds are doing just via the pecking order. And fortunately, we see that pattern fold out pretty naturally once they're outside. But yeah, and even a golden eagle can come through. We regularly have bald eagles and golden eagles coming through our site up there at San Simeon. It's close to Lake Nacimiento and Lake San Antonio, where there's a huge population of bald eagles nesting. And that was actually part of our work before Condors of restoring bald eagles back to Central California. And we now have 30 plus nesting pairs in Central California alone, and all throughout, you go beyond that, we have even more nest. And so we know that the reintroduction of a species can work. And now it's cool to see those bald eagles actually back interacting with the condor. But yeah, I mean, bald eagles and golden eagles can be a threat, especially to younger birds. So I don't know if have you guys been seeing any balds or golden eagles around down there recently?
No, nothing recent.
Yeah, I think it was, probably a couple months ago, we were having quite a bit of, there were some, I think it's more active in the summer with bald eagles and golden eagles. Wouldn't you say, Darren?
Yeah, summer, and then I think once we get more into winter too, because I know last winter there was a lot of activity as well, but I don't think they've just really made it around here or come back up here yet. But yeah, probably sometime in the next few months we'll start seeing them come back around.
Yeah, have we had any black bear sightings recently?
No black bears either. Knocking on wood right now.
Knock on wood to see them.
Yeah, I didn't know if Maeve and Isaiah had seen one in the road or up around the ridge there.
Yeah, this is the time of year where if we don't see one, we'll at least start seeing prints around. But yeah, a little bit ago, Joe, we had 566 and 904 come in. It looks like one of them took off, or at least one of them took off again, but just a couple more wild birds that are around and in the area.
Yeah, there's an adult feeding down there with 3 of the release birds.
Yeah, it looks like that might be 904 down there.
Yeah, look at that 904.
Yeah.
Very cool.
With that, and yeah, he was released from here in 2019.
Oh, somebody just flew in. That looked like 758.
I think that was 758.
Yeah, the slope is really active right now. Here we go.
Yeah.
There he is. He's chasing birds.
Oh, let's go 1139.
Yeah.
What do you think of it?
Yeah. This is it's interesting because 758 is definitely clued in on 904 here, but has not.
Who's this at the pool? There's someone at the pool, one of the release birds. Oh, it just ran right past the release bird. So the release bird must not be a threat.
Yeah. Yep. 1139 just by the pool, minding his own business.
That had to be scary though, having Thunder Chief roll by you at 100 miles an hour.
Yeah.
Interesting. Oh, he's down below there. He's chasing somebody up.
Yeah, I think another adult just took off after.
Oh, yeah, they just took off. Wow. Well, that's a good sign that he's not beating up on the young guys.
No.
Okay, we got 2 holdouts here. 1137 and 1128 taking their sweet time, which is just fine.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's the other thing. I mean, it's nice to have them go out, but if they take their time, like we saw last year with 1085 with Wild Bill, that was, at the end of the day, it all works.
Mm-hmm.
11:37, thinking about it. So the lower door is not open, right?
Correct. Yeah, we still have the lower door closed.
Any other questions coming in, Mike?
Well, yeah, quite a few. And I wanted to touch on the naming of birds. We haven't mentioned any names for these birds going out. And it seems like previous releases, we have had names for the birds. So is there any sort of standard process that we use timing wise as to when and how we apply names to our birds that are being released? And
Yeah, so-
will these birds be named at a later date?
Yeah, so this year, because of the HPAI, the highly pathogenic avian influenza, we were just struggling to get these birds up here and get them out. So we haven't had, especially Isaiah may have had a whole lot of time to really get to know the birds' individual personalities, which they will over the next couple months. And so we thought it'd be best to hold off and at least for the Ventana managed birds that we listed, those 5 Ventana managed birds, we're going to hold off until the January Condor chat to announce the names and give us a little more time to get to know the birds. And yeah, so they will, the 5 Ventana birds will, Pinnacles in general doesn't name birds. It's a national park policy that they don't name the birds, and we do. And so but again, we like to definitely not rush, anytime you give a condor a name. And yeah, this year was unusual in that we had the birds come up so late, and we've just kind of been trying to get everything else done. And for scientific purposes, the stud book numbers, those 4-digit numbers and 3-digit numbers are really what we use for all of our data collection. And then the names are kind of nicknames for the birds, to help us track the individuals out in the field. But it's both, it serves both purposes. But the stud book at the end of the day is the stud book number is really what we follow. And then we like to give the names based on their, some of these different personalities that develop, and also working with the Native American tribes, local tribes, and naming some of these birds that, some of these condors that obviously the condors were very important to the tribes we know locally. So we like to work with them and collaborate with them in naming some of these birds to honor some of the obviously some of the things they prize with the condor.
So we have an eagle update. May have just noticed that there is a bald eagle around. So,
oh wow,
quick change.
Is it to the south or the north of the pen along the ridge there?
That direction, I'm trying to.
Yeah, it's south.
Yeah.
South.
Yeah, south of the pen.
I think I know
It
that.
was
area.
fine
I think
pretty
there's a
quick
few
too, if you
snags
guys
they like over there, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I stepped out, but it landed in one of the snags before I came back in. So
Can I offer a question from El Saucil Middle School in Salinas? They're interested in condors in mainland Mexico. I know there's a released population in Baja California, but what can we say about condors in mainland Mexico, either historically or before the reintroduction program or currently?
Yeah, so I mean, historically, California condors definitely ranged into mainland Mexico. And that would be, I think that was probably the furthest south they went. And they went as far north as British Columbia, into Canada. And again, this was hundreds of years ago. But yeah, a lot of that habitat in mainland Mexico is still there. I mean, I would think more likely the Arizona population would be potentially able to link up with some of those historic areas, but we would have to see the population make a big jump before we'd see expansion into those areas. But eventually that could happen, if we get condors into the thousands in the wild. We might see expansion definitely up north with the Yurok tribe releasing and National Park Service releasing birds up in Redwood National Park. We could definitely see those condors as that population expands, moving north into some of those historic areas in Canada, all of Northwest, and then the same for Arizona, if that population really starts to expand. Probably have to see some exponential growth down there before they get into mainland Mexico, but we know historically they use those areas. And then the Baja birds, the Baja flock, they could also make it to mainland if they start migrating north and jump over and hook down that way, through Arizona, southern Arizona in that area. So yeah, lots of possibilities.
1137 sure is active. I think one of these times he'll make a lunge towards the open portion and not the
There he goes. Oh, he's looking right out. Man, he's
No, he keeps jumping at the actual pen. We're like, just move like this much over.
So close.
I know the behavior is always interesting, when they're testing out, trying to decide to go out. It's really, I always wonder what they're thinking. But, I think it's good when they're cautious like this. We always say it, when they take their time, that's a good thing. You don't want to just a young bird just diving in head first and finding out the hard way, So I kind of like it when they take their time. All right. Any other action down there at San Simeon? The weather holding up nice?
Yeah.
Breeze picking up. It looks like it's getting a little breezy out there.
Yeah, it is getting breezier, but still sunny and still, warming up maybe a little bit.
And
warm-up's nice. We've had some cold nights. Joe, you touched on the Yurok population up in Redwood National Park, probably a lot colder there. Questions are, how many birds have been released there? Any news on that site up there?
Yes, they believe they just released 2 or 3 more. I know they've been on the fast track as well because they have a smaller release window than we do in terms of winter. Obviously the north coast of California really gets wet this time of year, so they're definitely trying to get their birds out. I believe it was 3 birds that were released, literally just released recently. They have a great cam as well at their site, and we were really proactive with helping the tribe and the national parks getting that release site going. I spent a lot of time up there and really encouraged them to, if they could potentially get live streaming cams to make it happen if they could, and they did. They've got some incredible cams up there that you can you can find on the Yurok tribe website, and on that website they'll have updates on what's happening with the flock and who's been released. And I haven't heard the latest, but I know they were trying to get their release birds out this year. And again, a lot of all of us were delayed by the HPAI, the HPAI basically vaccination schedule and all that. We were trying to get through the trials and it pushed things back. So I think they have more release birds, but they're going to hold off and release them next year because it's just going to be too tight to get them out. So they had a few birds that came from LA Zoo that were fully vaccinated. And they were able to get those birds on the fast track, similar to us. So yeah, again, just check with their website, the Yurok tribe. I think it's yuroktribe.org, I believe.
To say we all looked on Condor Spotter yesterday too, and they have 12, but I'm not sure who's been released and who hasn't.
How many they have? Sorry, Kara.
12 total.
Hey, Joe,
1128
looks like
Yeah, 1128's making.
yeah, 1128 is going up in the upper door.
Oh my God, that was
so close.
Jeez. Oh my God. I thought for sure that bird was going.
Same.
Yeah.
Get Condor.
You looking? I mean, I don't know how they can resist not feeding with their buddies.
Mhm.
So social. Well, that's great. They're up to 12 in Northern California.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's including the Mentor 746, which seems like maybe that bird's staying, but not
Yeah.
sure.
Very cool.
Robert Ross in Arroyo Seco, New Mexico, my old home state, wants to know where these condors came from. And I don't know if you've gone through that yet, but could you sort of recap where these birds have been? They're here now and in the wild today, but where did they come from?
Yeah. Yeah, we had that slide up earlier. I'm not going to put it up because I want to keep it on the cam here. But yeah, we had 7 birds come from Oregon Zoo. Well, actually, we had 3 birds come up from LA Zoo. They came earlier. They came in, I believe it was around the 17th of October. They came up, and Kara, you were part of that transfer, right?
Yes, yeah, Maeve, Isaiah, and I went down
Yeah.
to LA Zoo and picked up the 3 of them. So that's 1137, 1139, and 1170 are all from LA Zoo.
Yeah, and 1170 was part of the HPAI trial group 1
Mhm.
down at LA Zoo. So that bird came fully vaxxed, and the other 2 had only 1. And the same with the Oregon birds. They came almost a week later. Yeah, almost exactly a week later. The 7 Oregon birds, they came on October 25th, and they only had 1 vaccine. And so LA Zoo, Oregon Zoo are 2 of the big captive breeding facilities, and they produce birds for us every year. Another facilities that contribute release birds, San Diego Wild Animal Park has a captive breeding center for condors, as well as the World Center for Birds of Prey up in Boise, which is operated by the Peregrine Fund. Those are the 4 big breeding facilities that produce all the birds we release all over. And, you know, they're all given a genetic score when they're hatched, and that determines the best place for them to be released, where their genetics will be the, you know, basically give them the best genetic diversity. So that's kind of what determines which birds go where in terms of release. So yeah, this year these 10 were slotted for California, and also our partners down in Southern California that are releasing condors, U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service. They are also releasing birds. I think they've released a few already as well this year, if I'm correct. And I believe they have 6 birds they're releasing total. So that's, again, I think they just started releasing as well, or they maybe already released all those birds. And again, everybody's trying to get their birds out before winter hits. Winter's not the best time to release condors, just because of the weather can pin them down, and they have trouble learning how to fly when they're just getting hammered by rain. So we try to get them out before that window closes. Oh, come on, birds. Oh, here we go. Nope.
Yeah, 11:28 is getting so close.
Just go over. Here it is.
You got it.
Oh my God.
It's the classic, should I stay or should I go?
Mm-hmm.
Has Thunder Chief returned or no?
I don't think we've seen him come back yet now.
And just to scare off the other adult birds.
Yeah, I think that was interesting. I mean, that speaks a lot to condor hierarchy, you know, where we see it a lot out in the field, where if you're a really low ranking, like these birds are basically at the bottom rung of the hierarchy. They're just such a non-threat to a bird like 758 that he doesn't even consider them a threat, basically. So it's like, it was really interesting to see him zero in on 904, who is a bird that's kind of just a tier down below him, and still a pretty minor threat. you know, in the bigger picture, but definitely more of a threat than these young release birds. Who else? So that's 904, 936, 958. Who else is down there? Anybody else? Oh, 1089.
Yeah.
66 showed up.
Who did?
566.
Oh, interesting.
Next bird.
Well, that's interesting because 566 Mike bird has historically had a territory down there at San Simeon, nested territory. And unfortunately, he's lost at least two of his mates. One of his more recent mates, he lost to lead poisoning. She died of lead poisoning. 726, right?
725.
725. And yeah, that was really sad. And he hasn't really shown interest in another female since. And now 758's on the scene. It's a pretty, it's kind of in flux right now, it seems like.
Yeah, I mean, based on what we saw from 758 there chasing 904, it does seem like he's trying to lay claim to this territory now. But yeah, I mean, we'll know for sure when breeding season really gets going.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see if 566, if Mike's bird comes back last minute and just reclaims it, you know. But yeah, 750, yeah, Thunder Chief is looking pretty darn strong right now. All right.
Yeah, he was also released from his pen. Yeah, Thunder Chief was, I think, part of the second cohort that was released from here.
Yeah, that's right. He's a San Simeon released bird. So he's got some stake in, you know, he's got some stake in that area. Yeah, so Mike's bird was one of the last part of the last cohort we released in Big Sur. And named after the great Mike Tyner, one of our great condor biologists, and he's definitely watching over us today. He's definitely would be excited to see all this. So big shout out to Mike Tyner. I think it's appropriate. His bird is down here checking things out.
I know he used to be here all the time, so I think now that when he shows up, we get excited.
Yeah.
But he was always like, without a doubt, down here.
Oh, that was his spot. Yeah, that's what was interesting. After 725 died, he kind of drifted away, but I'll be curious to see if now that 758 showing interest, that he'll come back and try to displace him.
As long as he nests, doesn't matter.
Yeah, exactly. That's a great territory down there for sure.
But 758 might have claim on 936 right now, so. Or not claim, they're hanging out.
I'm gonna zoom back down to the feeding area, see what's going on. Oh yeah, we got them all down here. Yeah, we got all four down there.
So with lead poisoning being a major threat to condors and all the work we do to mitigate that threat through non-lead ammunition outreach, through supplemental feeding, Ariana wants to know, is there some lead chelator that we can apply to their food that could help fight the potential for lead poisoning? Have you run into that concept?
Yeah, you know, we discussed that before with the veterinarians. And the only problem is we can't control the dosage that we give. One bird could potentially get more than it, because, you know, the chelation agent can actually be dangerous if they get too much. It can actually cause kidney failure. You know, it's got to be the right dose. Too much of the calcium EDTA chelation agent is definitely not good for the condors. So the veterinarians carefully measure based on their body weight how much they get, And so the problem with, if you put it on a carcass, a bird can get a disproportionate amount, a dangerous amount. And so that's what kind of, where we kind of hit a dead end with that. And, but it would be, you know, we're always trying to think out of the box and think of ways to lower lead, but really the best way, and, you know, a lot of your work, Mike, that we found is really just, we got to get the, you know, get the lead ammunition off the landscape and get more non-lead out there.
Yeah, that makes sense. Ariana, I thought you had just solved the lead issue for us. That was a good question, though.
That was a great question.
Yeah.
Yeah, but we're definitely, we're always thinking out of the box. So she's right on the same track with us.
I would say Southern California for a little while was feeding, like, was it rabbit or rat rats to make the, like, when we capture the birds for health checks and like transmitter tag changes, they'll feed those to make them cast. And that's just like one way that the zoos use to like help get lead fragments out of the system. So they're kind of testing that to see if we could like kind of preemptively make them cast out lead, just, yeah, as kind of like a,
yeah,
trying to help with that. But I don't really know where we ended up.
For sure.
So a bit of programming. We'll be here with you live until 12 noon. Some folks need to sign off, and that's okay. We are recording this, so it is available to be watched. How can viewers also follow up throughout the day on the progress of these birds? Is there something available on explore.org that they can watch and hopefully keep an eye out for these birds?
Yeah, there's the, you know, at our website, we have these live streams posted. We have the Big Sur site, the Big Sur Sanctuary. We have the San Simeon Sanctuary, which is this cam right here. And there's a couple cams at the Big Sur site. One that focuses on their favorite roost tree, and then one that focuses on the actual release area. And these are streaming 24/7. And for this, obviously, just check back in. The easiest way is just to go through our website and or explore.org, who sponsors the cams and an important partner in making all this live streaming happen. And on that same token, the live stream feed we get down here at San Simeon is provided by Ranch Wi-Fi, and they provide that stream for feed. It's a difficult place to get internet, so we're super thankful they're able to beam up the internet for us and get this stream live. You know, I think what happens is when we have this live stream going and the cruise tries to get on, I think it uses up all the bandwidth. So it's we usually don't have this much going on the stream up there, but it's pretty amazing we get it. So big shout out and thank you to Ranch Wi-Fi, and of course explore.org for providing the cams, and obviously up at Big Sur they provide our Starlink stream up there. So yeah, pretty amazing. And then yeah, well, we're waiting for these birds to go out. Definitely have some, we have some thank you slides. I'd like to get a shout out to folks. You know, obviously thank all of our Condor partners. Again, it takes a village. Los Angeles Zoo, we mentioned Oregon Zoo, Oakland Zoo, really important partner. They help us treat lead birds, and we're trying to expand HPAI treatment to Oakland Zoo. We're working closely with them and potentially going to put a few of our quarantine pens at Oakland Zoo. Of course, Pinnacles National Park, U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service, huge, our two main Condor partners. We work closely with California State Parks. And again, we couldn't do it without them. They allow us to, not only for our education program, but our Condor program, we're able to use their facilities for the Condor project. We have, we're able to put a walk-in freezer there that we store our carcasses. And then we also have our Discovery Center. And then soon we're going to have the S'mores project also at Andrew Malera State Park. And SPCA Monterey, we mentioned earlier, allowing us the location for the quarantine pens. Dr. Amy Wells, she volunteers all of her time to help us not only vaccinate birds, but treat birds. And Monterey Regional Parks District allow us access to areas to feed condors. BLM, Bureau of Land Management, they assist us with San Simeon. and providing housing for our interns when they're off-site from the release site. Big Creek Reserve, they allow us incredible access to nesting, to monitor nest, and also supplemental feeding sites for the condors. And University of California, Santa Cruz, we do a ton of research with those guys. And there's more or less, these are the big ones. But, you know, I just wanted to definitely recognize, you know, all of our partners, and there's probably more on there I should add. And obviously the biggest thank you goes to our donors and members, just for ongoing financial support. And again, here's a link to our website, and you can learn more about not only condor conservation. You can go to the explore.org live condor footage, membership, donation opportunities. You can sign up to receive emails, and you can shop cool merchandise. You heard it earlier, the crew mentioned our volunteers, our stellar group of volunteers. We have an awesome tracking program going, and we also have volunteers watching the cams, monitoring the birds, helping us collect data on how the birds are doing. You guys can interrupt me if you see some action happening on the pen. And yeah, our store is really cool. Our merchandise, check it out. We have Kathy Hamilton, our office manager. She just updated all of the swag, we could like to say. And here's the staff posing for it, but we have some really cool stuff on there. So definitely, with Christmas right around the corner, check it out. You can also adopt a condor. This is one of our more popular programs, and it comes with a complimentary membership kit, your only personalized condor adoption kit. They're really cool. Highly recommend it. They're really, really popular. And then again, we have a killer fundraising program going right now with Monterey County Gives. It's a 1-to-1 match. I'm sorry, it's a 1-to-1. It's in addition to our 1-to-1 match we received from Fish and Wildlife Service. So this is a way to just really make your donation go even further. So we highly recommend, if you can, donating through Monterey County Gives right now. And that goes through December 31st.
All that being said, you are now armed with everything you need to know about, or everything you need to bring more condors into your life. We hope you'll stay with us here for the next 15 to 20 minutes. Well, I still want to see if these two birds decide to leave, regardless of whether they leave or not. We'll be with you at least until noon, and answer any questions that you might have. And just watch the pen and see what happens.
Oh, wait, let me give you something here. Sorry. I'm going to show some other slides here. Yeah, this is another cool map from Evan. This is a, maybe Darren, can you want to tackle this one? Can you see it that well?
Sure. Yeah, I can see it. Yeah, so this is each of these maps was made for each of the 4 birds we released last November or early December. So yeah, you can see Evan, again, just another shout out to Evan McGreeth, making this amazing graphic for you all to see. But yeah, he's got the age for each bird on here, along with the information on their radio signals, specifically showing that like where their radio signals are picked up most frequently, like which of the sites. So for instance, 1085 Wild Bill, Evan showing here that yeah, he's detected through radio signal 51.9% of the time through pinnacles. And that's where he's detected the most. And you know, you can kind of see the contrast between each of these 4 birds, like 1087 Bucky. He's mostly detected from San Simeon. Yarrow's also mostly detected from pinnacles, and then Madrone, we mentioned earlier, has been missing since June, so we're still trying to locate her and checking her signal and looking for her constantly. But yeah, for these other 3 birds, we have pretty recent data to draw on, and you can also see there too. The last bit of information he has is how frequently they're actually seen, like how often we actually get physical eyes on on these birds to check them out and get the visual data. And then to the maps, you can see really since these are kind of showing their paths since release, I believe, and just showing where each bird has been, all the movements they've made in the past year. And you can kind of see there's like Wild Bill and Bucky, it's a somewhat similar, but Bucky hasn't made it quite as much into Big Sur as Wild Bill has. But Wild Bill's covered a lot of ground. He's really been all over like San Simeon and Big Sur and over to Pinnacles, and he's even flown further south than the rest of the birds in this cohort have.
Which is funny because he was the last one to go out.
Yep. Yeah. But yeah, it's cool to see. I mean, Yarrow too. So yeah, Yarrow has like really been around, kind of stuck in the Central California range between Pinnacles, Big Sur, and San Simeon, and has really become comfortable and familiar with all of those areas. So yeah, it's just cool to see, in the past year, how these birds have really become acquainted with the region and with the rest of the flock.
Yeah, Bucky's kind of a homeboy there. He's just hanging out.
Yeah, he has his zone. But yeah, we have to go out to, there's this one particular area he's been spending a lot of time in recently. So we have to physically go out to where he is most of the time to get a signal or a visual for him. And then too, sorry, I passed over this earlier, but the different colors on the maps also are associated with the areas that the birds frequently use. So you can see within each map, the areas that are more purple are the areas where each bird is spending the most time. And so yeah, Bucky, as you just mentioned, Joe, is a good example. You can see most of those purple areas are right around San Simeon, and then a little bit north of San Simeon there are where he's spending most of his time. And then yellow is the lower density, and you can see a lot of the flight paths are more in yellow there, where these birds are still spending time, but just not as frequently.
Yeah, these maps are so incredible. Like what we were saying earlier, how GPS has just really opened our minds to how these birds use the landscape. I mean, this is a great example. And look at the variation. I mean, talk about individuals, not only personalities, but they're, just Yarrow, to Wild Bill to Bucky. I mean, really dramatically different, and you'd think they would all kind of be similar, so yeah, it speaks volumes.
Could you explain what the average visuals are? Is that number of days the average time between visual observations of a bird?
Yes, that's correct. Yeah, I didn't explain that very clearly earlier, but yes, that's the average number of days that passes between visuals.
So Wild Bill, every 2 days or so, somebody is seeing that bird and identifying that numbered tag.
Yeah, him and Yarrow.
Yeah, that's great.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Bucky not so often, but it's just because of where he's at.
Yeah.
Right, Darren?
I really appreciate.
And that. Yep.
I really appreciate
Mike.
These maps because they're showing us how we need to focus our management of the birds. It's a great visual, but it also tells us where we need to provide our non-lead outreach. In fact, I was just looking at the map the other day and realizing that since the last time I looked, condors are actually colonizing Santa Clara County. They're moving up over the county line, and it makes me realize I need to add Santa Clara County to my non-lead outreach list of counties. And so I'm going to do that. And it's because of these maps showing where the birds are actually going.
Just a quick heads up, 11:37 is getting a little antsy.
All right.
So might end up in the doorway here momentarily.
Oh, look at that.
Yeah. Peeking out, sort of.
Come on, doesn't he know there's only 10 minutes left on the event here?
Yeah. Also, 1089 came back as well, and I believe might be feeding on the lower carcass with the other release birds now.
Come on, buddy. Here he goes. Yes. Oh, come on. So close.
37.
Yeah.
All
All right, here we go.
There he goes. Oh,
It's so close.
ooh, come on, buddy. Just go up on that log. Oh. Oh,
Do we open the blind door?
Yeah, we could
still
open the.
close. Here we go. I might zoom down to the feeding just to see what's going on real quick.
44.
Yeah, there's still a couple birds down there with a couple turkey vultures.
And that has been a question. There is a lower door, which I think you've kept closed. Is the desire for them to fly out the top, or would you open the lower door too if you wanted to possibly expedite the release?
We can definitely open that lower door.
Yeah.
11:37, you might want to go out that one.
Mm-hmm.
Wait a second. Yeah, 1089's feeding. 1144 watching.
I always thought of ravens as being pretty big birds until you see them next to a condor.
Oh, I know.
Yeah,
Look how tiny the turkey vultures look.
Yeah.
Yeah, what do you guys think? What do you think, Joe, about us opening the lower door? Because 11:37
Yeah, let's do
is
it.
on the ground.
I say we do it.
All right.
Let me get back. Let me zoom back up there real quick.
Mhm.
Which one is it? Great question. It is.
Is 1139 still down on the ground?
37.
I mean 1137.
Yeah, he's still down there.
Louder, lower.
Yeah, go for it.
Yeah, go for it.
Okay. All right,
We're opening it now.
Yep, Maeve's pulling right now.
Oh,
Nice.
that was smooth.
Okay, I didn't go to
Ooh. Go ahead, 11:37.
There we go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
Whoa, good fly. What?
Wow.
is he gonna?
Did he take off?
Yep, he took
Yeah.
off.
Hopefully you see where he went.
He's circling back, sorta. he's
He's ready.
he's flying right around.
Oh, that's awesome.
So we've had 4 birds fly out and 1 do a casual walk.
And
out
then
there.
but then a bigger flight.
And a bigger
Yeah.
flight afterwards. That's good.
A lone bird, 1128.
Yeah.
And one of the
28
other
can't stand that
birds
for
we
long.
released. Yeah,
He realizes I know.
yeah. We also just had one of the birds we released earlier just took off after 11:37 as well.
Welcome to the wild. Off they go. Exciting. All right, 1128. There's always one.
Last year it was Wild Bill, I think.
Yep. So she's definitely tentative. You can tell. I guess when you're the last one, you're kind of like, okay, where did everybody go? Now, should I just stay here? You know, maybe I'm just better off staying here. I see the crew. They're trying to spot birds.
Yeah, we're looking out windows.
So now it sounds like we'll be quickly in the radio tracking mode here pretty quick.
Yeah.
Yep.
Any updates? You guys spot any of them?
I think they flew off to north of where the pen is. So Shortly after we log off with you guys, we'll go track them down.
Okay, we still have, I don't think you guys can, we still have 1144 standing next to the carcass and 1089 feeding.
Okay. Yeah,
I can't
1139 is back up here at the pool.
Okay. Oh yeah, there it is. There's 1139. Getting a drink.
Mm-hmm.
Surprised they're letting the turkey vultures feed on that upper carcass. So who went, so 1137 took off and then,
Yeah, there was another bird that followed them, but I didn't catch the tags.
all right,
on that
1139 just
follow.
flushed the turkey vultures.
Oh, nice. All right.
Well, this is probably the first time I would think they've been this close, without a pen wall between them with turkey vultures. So that's got to be interesting.
Yeah.
Nothing from, yeah, 1128. I think it's going to pull a wild bill.
I've been looking that way.
So just to update everybody, we've got 5 of the 6 birds out today. 1128, she's still holding out here in the pen. But we have 1123, 1124, 1137, 1139, and 1144 are out. They're free. So been pretty darn good so far, knock on wood. Yeah, I would think with 1139 feeding right there, that would really draw in 1128. Yeah, would you guys say that 1128 is one of the more dominant birds in the pen or no?
In the top 3 of the dominant birds we have in our cohort here.
Yeah, probably the most dominant female as well. I think the only ones.
Oh, 1128?
Like 11. Yeah. 1139 is and 1144 are probably the only 2 that are, a little tougher than her. But yeah, she's real strong.
Well, I thought 1128 would go out right before our noon cutoff, but yeah. So on that note, our next release will be December 12th. Same schedule. We'll be here at 9 a.m. and we'll have a class joining us similarly around 9:50. We'll do a presentation. That presentation will probably be mostly about how the release birds are doing, the first 6, and any new updates on HPAI and our rebuild and stuff like that. So, and then we'll release the last 4 birds. So yeah, definitely come back and join us if you missed the first one. You can watch it. We'll have it posted up on our YouTube page. You can rewatch today's release. Probably be up by tomorrow. And then, yeah. And again, you can sign up for that on our website at ventanaws.org. So really appreciate everybody that joined us today. coming out and seeing these birds go out. It's always exciting, and we're just glad we get to share it with all of you, and using this technology to kind of bring it right to your screen. So and again, we couldn't do any of it without the crew down there carrying the heavy loads. So big shout out to you guys down there, and good luck with the rest of the day. I'll be obviously keeping updated with you guys, but can't thank you all enough. You're the backbone of this project. So thank you.
Yeah, thank you, crew. Good luck today. Be safe out there. Good luck to these birds. May their first day be uneventful. They have about 5 hours of daylight to fatten up, find a tree, and and get to rest. So thanks, crew, for all your efforts. Thanks to the 270 of you who joined us for this Condor chat. December 12th, we have the remaining 4 all females that will be released, and we look forward to hearing updates on these 6 that were released today. And thanks, Joe, for all you do. Look for Condor Canyon coming up soon. And also we want to thank Pinnacles National Park for joining us, and also Paz Middle School for being our feature correspondence school today. I know there were some other schools joining us. Thank you so much, and we look forward to hearing more from students. And I believe we're actually going to do more follow-up programs with those classes to keep track of these birds, so those students can keep in the loop on what's going on even after today.
Yeah, so for folks that want to keep and see if 1128, after we shut this down, just go to our website and to the Condor Cam page, and we'll have this going. I'll be moving the camera for the rest of the day, making sure we keep track of what's happening. So yeah, just stay tuned, and let's see if 1128 goes out today. So that'd be interesting. Yeah, and thanks, Mike, for fielding all the questions and doing what you do, buddy. All right, without further ado, we're going to sign off, and yeah, we'll see you on December 12th. Thanks, everyone.
Thanks, everyone. Have a great day.
Have a great day.
Thanks, everybody.
Bye.